till you actually see the prospect of $90,000 or 85,000 as of looking at the Kickstarter page right now. It's literally dropped $2,000 in a half hour. But
Right.
until
Yeah,
you
I
actually
understand.
start to see the dollar signs as a, concrete, wow, we have the potential to get this, no one really thinks about compensation for the time and effort that you've put into the project or where things can go from there. That's why I thought it was important, if he was going to turn this around and make this a legit company, was he would have to step down, let someone else take the reins, at the very least at this juncture, so that the transparency of the company could be laid bare, the finances could be laid bare to the dev team. Obviously, it doesn't have to be to the community, but that things would be clear and legitimately legal-wise straight for everyone who's participated in the project. And that was the demands that you guys laid forth, and nothing that you guys demand seemed outrageous or out there. I mean, the only thing that would seem like it would be kind of a sucks for him is stepping down as lead of the project.
Okay.
He doesn't give a fuck. He literally just said PR is PR. He does not give a fuck.
Yeah.
Who's talking right now? How do I know who's talking? I'm so confused. I know,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, there we go. We set that's there we go. That's set perfectly. So we're just doing the development status. Give me a moment. I saw a firefighter. We don't just put the man.
You guys are all okay. Don't even worry about it. And you know,
there you go.
I don't even remember what I was going to say.
Dude, shut the fuck up.
God, what the
Jeebers.
fuck?
It's this
Hey,
rocks or water guy. Get him out of here.
Mr. Electric, kill him.
Unfortunately.
Is it true the devs couldn't go into the AMA chat?
Yep.
Why?
Yeah, they don't have
That's
fucking
fucking
They made it seem like they might have fucked up the permissions, but they did that shit on purpose. No doubt about it.
You couldn't even get in there. What the fuck?
Yeah, no, they were completely
we
blocked.
couldn't go in.
What about the current devs that are left? Like in the on the dev list, the orange names. Are they still part of the team or?
So he hasn't cut any of us yet. He hasn't signed any set of terminations clauses with any of us yet. What he has been doing is been asking for work, and then if nobody delivers upon it, he just terminates us. Oh, jeepers. Is that me making that?
No,
it's
no.
It's some imbecile, not you, Wappy. Keep going.
Yeah, you fucking stop, dude.
I just muted him, guys.
Right click on Rosker, whatever his name is. Right click on him and then hit mute.
Yeah,
You're good, Wappy. You're good, Wappy, mate.
It's Chance Bros alt account.
Yeah.
No, did you
Yeah,
hear what Tom said before?
Don't do that,
He
man.
said it's not the right channel to discuss stuff about the shit that has happened in AMA, and it's not the right time. It's not the right place. None of that. Oh well, then someone asked, well, should you just give them access so they can listen? Well, they don't need to listen because they have nothing to hear and they have nothing to say. It's just
Inside the AMA?
Yeah, inside the AMA.
Yeah, I mean, the way that I see it is I am still technically a consultant of this company, and a Ask Me Anything should be open to anyone. If that's not the case, that is a very toxic environment to be around.
Oh, it's a different person.
It's GG.
The different old account.
Hello, Glow.
Hey, I'm not sure who said that, but hello. I'm just fucking pissed off that this game has gone down this route. I've been waiting for this game for like 4 years, literally. Like 4 years or however long it's been.
We're too.
And it's like...
Ever since Rising Storm 2 ended, you know.
Wappy, are you still here?
It's Andre 3000.
He is muted, but he is still in the chat.
Yeah, I'm still here. I just fingered the button.
So I am seeing a lot of people, and I don't know if you could kind of give any context, but they're asking about, the nature of the strike and what you guys were actually looking for. If you'd like to do an AMA, I think now would be the time.
Let's take
can you give
a
an insight?
gander and see what we...
Because I know I've seen the conversation, but I think it would help, give people
Yeah,
some context.
let me
as to
take a
what's
look and
going on.
see. You know, I've lost a lot of permissions to a lot of the chats in the Discord, but while I'm still here,
I'm sure someone can stream them for you.
oh no, there's some private channels. Just give me a second. I've got screenshots of every conversation ever.
Yep, keep those receipts.
Yep, absolutely. If you
Hopefully
don't
more
think I
people
didn't
hear
download
from
the
you
whole
than
entire
live
Discord's
aiming.
conversation, you'd be a fool.
Oh, I believe you that you did. I just would like to point out to everyone we have 117 people in this chat and they have 136.
Hell
yeah.
we need more. We need more.
It's just his attitude that is.
This is the real
Some
AMA
guys-
night.
We'll get a
channel hasn't gotten deleted.
We'll get a few more people in here. Real quick.
I
Imagine
mean,
the conversation is quite different in the other one.
All of the official things that we stated is we asked him to step down from his sole position as the lead developer and make it into a board of directors, because no company in nowadays terms runs with just a sole director. You know, if you have a board of directors, your higher probability to bust the $100 million in revenue a year. And as a studio that's looking to grow and stay consistent and, you know, make all of our dreams come true, that's why we requested that.
Makes sense.
And he stated exactly right after that, I will not step down from my current role, which I initiated in order to appease either a minority or majority of individuals at this time. I'm considering the possibility of bringing in a project lead, but this will only be feasible when the project is financially stable. The individual's sole responsibility will be to manage the project as a whole rather than leading a specific department or team within. That's what Chance's original clause was to us, and he stuck by it. He lied to us about it. We were like, okay, man, we're still on strike. You keep asking for people, but technically we're, you know, covered under Australia law that you can't terminate people when they're on strike. Yet he was doing that.
Take him to court.
Yeah, sue his ass. Fuck
Well,
it.
it's shame on us for not reporting the strike to the local authorities at the time. We have now, so we have to wait 3 days before another strike could be officially received. But because it has been going on for so long, over 14 days, so since about October 21st, that's how long this strike has been going on for. Or, well, the same day as Kickstarter launch. I can't remember exactly what the day was. What exactly?
Pardon the interruption, but have some of the devs been officially sacked so far?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. 4 of the devs
Okay.
have officially been sacked. Our community manager, bless his heart, he stepped down in fear of his contract and was terminated that route.
Who, Soundboard?
I cannot specify names.
Well, that Soundboard, it was only one person. I mean,
Soundboard was the community manager. This is public knowledge.
Yeah, it's public knowledge.
He was terminated.
That's fucked up. Wow.
He stepped down in fear of his contract because it was a lot more specific in his terms. But anyways,
Is there a way to support you guys? Sorry to interrupt.
So at this time, we're not looking to be like supported in any manner. We want the project to be successful, but if Chance is at the helm, we personally do not accept that. And we say, you guys make your own decisions on what you want to support. If he has an outsourcing studio he's promising and things like that, by all means, keep up with it. We asked for changing communication, so there's a lot of things where he was overriding Soundboard when it came to community management. Yeah.
There you go.
Well, from the experience that I can speak of, the individual who was a content creator who was asked if he could create a video for the Burning Lands project and was given the green light by Chance, and then when he submitted the video, very popular YouTuber amongst others who are part of the project, but the video that he submitted was basically nothing was used, and like there was no thanks for the use of the video or that kind of stuff. So it sounds like Chance himself is on a bit of a power trip. He seems to think that now he's got this big, project that he's working on, that he can tell people how this is going to be and how everything does. He fails to realize
So out of
that.
character.
Yeah, I know.
Yep. Yeah.
But
Well,
it's going to his head, and I don't support that. I've pulled my pledge, and I
Same.
would, it's all like Wooby said, it's all up to everyone else as to if they wanted to support this or not. I've seen projects like this before, and they all crash and burn. I'd get out while you still can. You got 14 days.
Does this
Yeah,
seem
we
very
make
much
sure we
like,
put people away. Just
seems
make
very
sure we
much
put
like
people away
description,
from having
doesn't it?
more people and they have in the official live stream.
Yeah, so I never received any sort of payment terms in an official agreement capacity or any sort of verbal
We've
communication.
surpassed. I'm sorry, Wooby,
Right.
but we just passed the AMA. We're at 132.
yeah.
They're at 128.
That's for yourself, guys. We did it. We did
Yep.
it.
So
Yeah, we kinda
half the
switched
team is essentially in the same position I am, and then the other half of the team has a revenue share of some sort.
Yeah,
Yes,
we
it
have
is shame on me for signing a contract without that, payment agreement terms. But I, thinking of
I'm
like,
with you, Whoopi.
you know,
I'm with you.
Passion project.
They're the shitty thing
yeah.
to do.
You don't have
understandable, man.
royalty payments.
Startups usually don't bring in any money in the beginning, so don't worry about signing
Yeah,
anything like that.
right, absolutely. And I joined this because,
Passion project.
who on the resume has an official game release on their resume. That was the main shtick for me was, wow, this would be great if this, would be possible.
Yeah, that was a good.
We
good
just
way
got
to
to make
build
sure we
portfolio.
follow where you guys are headed.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm contacting the
um,
83 team. They need help.
yeah, I mean, that's really all that we had. I mean, there was a few things where, like, we asked him very nicely not to. There was an incident where we had an amazing cinematic trailer, and he ended up in the hospital after going through a few mental illnesses and things like that. And the guy, when he got back, he DM'd us, and he posted up 5 comments. He said, guess which one is from what person on the team. 4 of them all were pretty much saying, hey man, how are you doing? Are you well? Are you doing all right? Hang in there, man. Like, get back to us, because we want to make sure you're okay. And the last one said, you dirty, filthy dog, how dare you? You are useless. You are nothing to this team. We can't trust you. Nothing.
What?
Which one do you think the
What?
owner of a company should be responding as?
What?
Why the?
Oh,
You
Yeah.
serious? What the hell?
I've been contacted by a couple of former devs today, and they kind of share the same sentiment as that. Is that it's all these guys are doing a passion project and not being paid, but the demands are just insane.
Oh, Big Fry, you were in the stream for his whole negative PR is negative PR.
Oh,
PR is
yeah,
PR.
of course.
He
of
said the
course.
fucking thing. He said PR is PR. That's
Yeah, that's great, man.
dude.
I mean,
Oh.
So
people here don't agree.
So brave. Oh my god.
I know. I mean, PR is PR, but he's just dropped $3,000 in 40 minutes on
Right.
the Kickstarter.
Yeah, I backed out.
Yeah.
Such a.
Like I
Let's
said,
see
we
the
need
Kickstarter
everybody
right now.
to know about this.
It is such a quiet thing to fall.
I don't want to. I don't want to support a team that is treated terribly.
Yeah.
You know.
Have you not read what the Amishes put in the AMA event?
I would like to say, Whoopi, if whatever direction you guys as developers decide to go in, I can only speak from the Soul Sniper side of things. If you could come and post whatever direction you guys, new project, whatever you're planning on, into our Discord, we would be happy to disseminate and spread that information around to help support you guys in the new projects that you decide to go to, whatever direction that is. I'm sure there are other YouTubers or other people here who would also love to spread that information around. I just want to express to you that we support you in all of this, and we want to make sure that you guys at least come out on top and escape this sinking ship safely.
Amen. Amen.
Here.
Yeah, speaking as one of
here.
those other YouTubers, I'm coming in a little bit late to this situation. Obviously, I was hoping to ask real quick if one of the devs in this chat would be willing at some point to. You don't necessarily have to recap everything here because most everyone already knows what's going on. But a 30,000-foot view type recap or something for me in like a DM or an email or something. To get a better idea of what was going on that led to the strike and what the strike demands are, that sort of thing, if you'd be willing.
Yeah, if you want to go ahead and send me a DM to Whoopi, I'll have the team formulate kind of everything. I've been on the team since April, so I don't know the past 2 years prior, but I've only been on the team since April, and there's been things going on that have just made me feel uncomfortable. Questionable things that have been asked of me that would break the law, and it's just.
Speak of the devil, Ruben's here.
Yeah,
Ruben.
yeah,
Hey, welcome.
exactly.
Welcome, Big
the
Fry.
British man himself.
Welcome
But
to the real
anyways,
man.
I need
Thank you, I
to.
appreciate it.
I need to head out here. I can't speak too much because now I'm just kind of. It's too much mentally taxing on me right now, and I might have slipped up and said too much on certain things.
No,
so.
you're good, man.
You're good. Take your
Take
time.
take your
Take your
leave.
time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thank
we
you for
appreciate it.
explaining things as you have.
Oh, he's gone,
you
bro.
He gone.
He's gone.
Oh,
He
okay.
just got banned from the
He's
server,
not
probably.
gonna fuck you, bro. No, I'm joking.
Live stream is
So, how
He's
do
not
you
banned.
back out of a Kickstarter?
live stream is at 108. We are at.
It's not about Whoopi hearing you. It's about sending a message.
It's about sending a message.
So you direct all your questions to Ruben now.
Jesus.
Am I
I
understanding
missed that.
correctly
I listened to
the
Chance Bro in the live stream talking about his response to the guy getting kicked out because his dad had cancer. That was
What?
the worst case of management style I've ever heard.
Lucky name, even from the message.
Wait, hold on. He was terminated because his dad had cancer. What?
Yeah, so
the message.
Yeah, because he didn't add in enough time.
I
so I've stayed in the AMA for
Hey, your
ages.
dad has cancer. You can't work here anymore. Sorry.
Yeah, I just stayed in there and I asked the question and got.
Oh my god.
I'm a people leader in a bank in Australia. I've been a manager for a number of years, and that was the most disgusting example on how to deal with someone in personal distress I've ever heard.
100%.
Oh,
Yeah.
And to be honest, that's just made my decision on personally, not here to influence anyone, on where this project is at. And it needs serious change in leadership and structure before I continue to back it.
Right.
Yeah,
Oh,
I have
Mordog
already
is in there.
removed
Hello,
my
Mordog.
my back of this project. So I highly encourage anyone else who's listening to also remove your backing of this project. As far as I'm concerned, the position that he has taken in shifting the blame off of to everyone but himself and not doing what he needs to do to turn this into a legit company and instead just be his own personal piggy bank, I think is disgusting.
Well, he's already admitted. He's already admitted that he's not going to pay the devs. He's not going to pay them.
This
So-
has turned.
Yeah, no, he's not. No, yeah, it doesn't matter what they've been doing for the past however many years. They're not getting paid. They're not
That's
getting
gonna
paid.
work out well.
He said it was up to the devs.
They're at
whether they
99
get paid or
audiences.
not.
Yeah, that's
Sorry,
that's
they're at
that's a
99
euphemism
98
for
audiences.
no, you're not getting paid. That's
The money is
so
going
wait,
towards the new
BDSM.
outsourced devs.
Yeah.
So wait,
If
would
you
Chance
invite-
leave the company if
Right.
he got cancer?
What?
No, he would work for free. He would clearly work for free.
Oh, more
So,
free
if
and
I
will
understand
like it.
correctly, the contracts that they signed, like partly they worked for free, partly had like a promise of revenue share, and then with the money the Kickstarter generated, they would pay the new third-party developers to continue working on the game. Or how does that work? Or like, what's the deal with that?
I mean, that would probably be how that would work. Is the Kickstarter money? Some would go to the devs who have revenue share, and then the rest would go to hiring the new devs to help push this across the finish line. At this point, with $84,000, I don't know how the hell he's going to pay enough devs to get this pushed across the finish line. There is at least a year or two's worth of work for a dev team of 10 plus to get this done.
Well,
I
that's not
don't-
happening.
That's not happening. There's too much work.
The brutal part about it.
Guys, this
Brutal part because they can't keep it up with that Kickstarter money at all.
No, they
I was
can't.
concerned. I was concerned ahead of time. You know, whenever you look at the promises, I mean, I was looking at it as a freaking conspiracy. You look at the amount of money that they are looking at in terms of releasing the project as post Kickstarter. Alpha, beta, whatever you want to call it.
Grand,
I mean,
yeah.
100 grand, it seemed ridiculous. Like, it seemed like, and I don't understand why a dollar amount would justify or be the reason why they would release
One
the
of the
project.
things that he had said during the AMA was that he was in talks with a third party.
I mean, he could legitimately, if everything was going properly and being transparent, he could legitimately have launched this game based on the Kickstarter money alone,
Yeah,
if
easily.
he had the dev team behind him, supporting him, and actually developing for it. And like I said earlier, taking the option of maybe deferring payment for this game in favor of getting it pushed and across the finish line into early access, into launch, where they could actually collect the windfall that would be coming in of people actually buying the game. So it
Well,
is
and
it was
he's losing
possible.
that money now.
The devs then
After
decided
all.
they didn't want money. They decided, oh well, we want to stop after 4 years. We want to stop. We don't want our money. That's what they decided.
Check the.
What
Yeah,
about
I'm
I
sure
assume that's
Appleton
sarcasm.
General?
All of the devs,
That was
every last
sarcasm.
one of them, and all the ones that left before they all decided. You're right. They're all fucking selfish assholes. You got it pegged, man.
What about
Exactly.
I can only
The only
assume
thing to do.
Wait,
The
B, that
only thing
wasn't
to do
sarcasm.
is pull out.
Sarcasm there, guys.
Okay,
Sarcasm.
okay.
Oh,
Just
the only thing
making
to
sure.
do is pull out at this point. That's it. That's the only. I mean, and the only thing that's disheartening for me is for the devs that did have those revenue share agreements, where if you pull your money now, right, like that money ain't going to the devs.
He's
Like
repping, like,
that's
yeah,
the
it doesn't matter.
heartverbreaking part of it all.
Right.
And I hate to
That's what
be
the
that
devs
guy to be
decided on. They
like,
decided they didn't want to work anymore.
right.
A
So,
reaction
I
to the
mean,
Burning Land situation.
Bees?
So I
Yeah.
think at this
Actually,
point,
no,
the only
sorry.
thing to do
The
is pull
official
your
reason
money.
he gave is because they made it public. They outed me. Oh no, you're not getting paid.
So what
Yeah,
about the
making it
stretch
Well,
worse.
he
You
was
can't
a-
just air your
he was
dirty
just a
laundry out and make the
transfer
game look
before
bad.
Gift card. Transfer the money through gift cards at this point,
Gift cards.
When
I
you
mean,
lose,
one of
like
those
100
scammers,
plus
one of those
Kickstarter
phone
backers.
scammers, one of those phone scammers.
Considering the track record that seems to be the case of paying through PayPal into Chance's direct personal account for the payment to be pre-Kickstarter and be a supporter that way, I fully would expect him to take all the Kickstarter money into his own
Just real
personal
quick,
account.
he's
What
talking to
what
93
about,
people. He's talking to 93 people. 92. No, we're 150.
That payment, he specifically wanted people to pay it as friends and family through
Yes.
PayPal because
Yeah,
doing
to
that, I
avoid
think
the
has less
tax.
transaction fees and I think you
100%, yeah.
can't claim a refund through PayPal as
Well,
well. doing
it's
it that way.
also not
Exactly, yeah.
taxable in Australia.
Exactly.
I mean,
yeah.
there's a real case that he's avoiding the tax.
Don't forget
I
the
got,
suspicious change from
I got a question
USD
for the
to-
devs. I'm just following something up Chance has said. Is that one of you guys said that you want this board of directors and have, I guess, developers as part of the board. Chance is saying you guys never followed back up with that to say who you want on the board. Is that true, or did you actually continue that conversation?
Do we even have devs here right now?
Yeah, we told him that we would figure that out later. We just wanted him to agree to stepping down before we went that direction.
Okay, thank you.
Moydog, what do you think?
So I take it by
What do
these
you think about this?
conversations that he's absolutely unwilling to step down in any capacity.
He's not going anywhere, man.
He's not going to.
No.
If you guys haven't seen
Why
by
should
now,
he? It's his game.
Why does he have to?
it's been
His
very obvious
company?
the type of person this guy is, the way he's talked to his customers before anybody spending money here, the way he's talked to his devs, the way he's talked to his playtesters.
Is this you're a playtester, right, Capuchon? This is why his stretch goals went from USD to Australian currency.
No. Oh well, he changed the goalpost for a reason. I'm
Make
sure.
it look like it was doing good.
Doing well, and specifically so that he could put up the espionage tier, I imagine. Because once that went up, you saw a lot of people change their pledges. I changed my pledge up to espionage at that point. That's more money out of the backers that he does have because he realized, the publicity campaign's kind of already over. We flopped on that regard. So we're gonna have to get more money out of the backers we do have rather than new backers. That's what that
his
was all
devs
about.
are out running an anti-campaign against the game. Of course, he's going to try to salvage it. Try to salvage
calm
it.
Calm down.
It's not against the live stream.
Sounds like they're very
Okay,
passionate
man.
That's
about
what it
the
is.
game.
It's running opposition right now. That's what this
they
is.
would be
Carl, I
continuing
don't
their
think you
work if
listened
the
to him.
funds
Because
were
they
made.
realize
Order in the court.
Whoever said that, you haven't
chance
listened to
under-
a single thing that's happened in the past hour.
I have been. I was in the other AMM. Now I'm in here.
No, I'm talking to Hacker. He's
I was literally in the AMA.
I don't think you've understood any of it. I don't think you've listened
All right, I think the main thing to take away from this is the devs who have been working on this for the past 4 years have wanted this project to succeed, and it's only just now in the last week or two where they actually started to put their foot down and were serious about this that shit's really gone to hell in a handbasket, and that's because Chance does not want to relinquish his iron grip of control on this project. He views it as his project. This is his baby, and what he says goes. And he is the type of person who, when faced with a hard choice of either stepping down and letting this project grow and actually evolve into something that he and everyone else who's been involved can be proud of, he wants the credit for himself. He wants to be the big, yeah, this is my development, or this is my
And he wants the
project.
money.
Yeah, and he wants, well, yeah, most people like that want the money behind it. I mean, hell, I certainly wouldn't be mad about having a nice big payday like this if this game actually got to Steam. I mean, this could be several 100,000 plus worth of income for this project, especially if they do DLC, more games, different games, stuff like that. But that takes actually stepping back, relinquishing direct control to a group of people instead of just you, so you can do what is best for the game and the company as a whole, and he seems not willing to do that.
And not launch
So
a
they spent,
Kickstarter.
they spent,
Oh no, because he's made
4
it about
years.
him.
Order.
They want all this money. They spent 4 years working towards this, and a couple weeks before they're like, "I'll throw away all my work." It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it
No.
why
Well, the funny part is they're not running it like a business at all. Like, if that's the goal is to earn money, they're not doing it at all in terms of a business entity. The funny part is all of the things that they ask for. Like I put in the chat, I'm like, those are typical normal business components to an actual studio, to an actual business. These are the things that weren't established ahead of a Kickstarter, which is essentially a Series A funding. That's essentially what from a business perspective, that is a Series A funding, and they didn't have any of that set up. Not even a board of directors would be set up pre-Series A funding.
it's a
None of that was set up.
He is the Senate.
And we know,
Yes. He is the Senate.
if you look at the way that Chance has interacted with the community, I mean, I'll just go back to when he made the original promise about releasing the Kickstarter, right? He said, let's get 1,000 people in the Discord and we'll open it up, right?
Amish,
He
you're
just
double
freaking
broadcast.
trolled everyone. He just trolled everyone and just pissed off everyone. He's not a marketing guy at all. He has no business professionalism at all. What would you expect? That's the brutal part.
Epic troll.
And he even admitted that the strike actually was conducted before the Kickstarter. He said 5 hours. It may have been more, but he's done this as a power grab or a cash grab. He's now using it as leverage, saying, "Look, I, the project lead, have this money secured. Therefore, I can replace you all." The devs want
Is it possible
the
to
project
The
to
alternative is
continue.
have the game die.
Is it possible to
the
let
devs
the
wanted
power
the
game's
roll?
gonna die.
It is gonna die,
It's
man.
unfortunate.
Yeah,
It's
it's
unfortunate,
What the
but
fuck
a
is
project
going
under
on?
this
is
lead
textbook.
cannot survive.
This is AI. Don't worry.
Listen,
Are there actually
listen.
any devs left in here? I'm actually curious.
Yeah, yes,
Okay.
yeah, we are
Yeah,
5.
Oh, okay. Just we've got to just double check. Go double check our engagement. That's all.
Yeah, to help bring everyone else up to speed who may have joined the development stream channel instead of the actual AMA.
No,
The
this is
first
the real
question
one. What are you talking about?
the first question that was answered in the AMA was a result of the dev letter, basically stating that this guy's stealing the game out from under them and not allowing an actual company to be developed around this game. And he has shifted the blame onto everyone but himself. He is planning on taking the money from the Kickstarter, and instead of paying it out to any of the developers who have spent 4 years on this game, he's going to hire new developers in to try and get this project finished. I think the general sentiment here is do not back this game as it is right now. As much as the original devs would love to see this game take off and be successful, the person who is running it right now, Chance, is running this game into the ground. It will crash and burn.
He deadass started the AMA with the devs are trying to steal my game.
I mean, I summed it up. That's not what he literally
Oh,
said,
no.
but the way that he said it was, I've been put in this position. I've left the door open for them to talk to me. It was only 5 hours before the launch of the Kickstarter, and they never mentioned anything like this
Which they
prior.
weren't consulted on, by the way.
Yeah.
None of them knew that the Kickstarter was even going to release. He may as well have just done it as a panic to use as leverage.
But yeah, he's taken this and is trying to spin this into a position that benefits him, and that's how he's answered the AMA. He has not taken any responsibility. He does not seem to be interested in the health of the company or the game as a whole. He wants his project to make money for him.
I hear that.
He's already proven
Here's
he's
the
using
big
it.
question
as
I
his own
got.
personal
Should I
fund.
just cancel my Kickstarter if this is
Yeah,
the case?
No, don't cancel your Kickstarter.
I just joined the chat. I want to make sure this isn't. No,
I mean, if anyone is still having
say
any,
yes.
if anyone thinks
This
that
ain't a
there's still
crypto
some
scam.
ambiguity to his character, let me read you this. Hey, Chance, when you forced me out of the project because I didn't have time to work on the project, because my father had terminal cancer, and I had to constantly help him. I remember you harassing me constantly, saying my dying father was not an excuse to work for free. Is my invite still open to rejoin?
Jesus Christ. I was in the AMA. He responded to that.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
That's
wow. Okay, and what did he respond to that?
What do you say?
I believe he said something about you've got to meet the deadlines and that they
Are
had
you
conversations
joking?
that
No,
are
no, no,
they
no,
had
no,
conversations.
they're volunteers.
They had, Hold on, on, let me
God.
finish.
Everyone, hello, that was
Remember what
me.
he said? Remember what he said?
That was
And I
me.
believe he also said
Amish?
that everyone
Hello.
I believe he also said that all the conversations are logged.
The guy who sent the messages in
Yeah,
call.
he's here. Yeah, Amish,
Yes.
go ahead.
I would like to mention that there was talk about me leaving, stepping down, which, would have been a reasonable thing to do. But my issue with Chance was that if I were to leave, I would not be allowed back on, and he constantly held the contract over my head, saying that I would not see any of the shared revenue from me leaving if I were to leave because I didn't have the time. And this last
if you break a contract, you don't get the benefits of the contract.
That's the constant threat, though, is that he threatens that if we leave for whatever reason, that he'll just take our revenue away from us.
Yeah, I'm sorry that you all had.
You mean the contract you wrote with ChatGPT? Damn, that's really binding, bro.
I still can't get over that, by the way. If that's true, which
so funny.
has it been confirmed? If that's true,
Can I get a clarification? So,
the
I mean, you guys are gonna have to get into the legalese of your contract and see if
I mean,
it actually.
If you have not hired lawyers yet, I highly recommend you talk to a lawyer.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
you guys need to. The devs who are here that don't want to support this anymore. You guys really need to get into your contracts, get some lawyers to go through it with a fine-tooth comb, and figure out what exactly is in there. So that way, you guys can get some compensation for it. And then if you guys pull another project, as Mayor said earlier, reach out to those of us that sell snipers, clothes. There's a lot of us out here who would love to make you guys.
you're lagging a lot, man.
From what we've seen of the game, it looks good.
I mean, it shouldn't be too hard to piece apart a contract generated by ChatGPT. I mean, it shouldn't take too fucking long.
I was so hyped for another Vietnam War game. I was so hyped for another Vietnam War game.
Dude, to answer the question that someone had,
the last one.
To answer the question someone had as to whether or not you should support this Kickstarter, the general sentiment that I'm picking up from the community here is no, do not back this Kickstarter. Of course, it's all our opinion. Take your own opinions off of the discussion that we are having, but I would advise you not to back this. I've seen projects like this and they will crash and burn. I'm not Nostradamus, though. I don't know if this will. But as far as I'm concerned, with Chance at the helm, I do not want to back him and this project whatsoever.
No, it won't work at all.
I mean, worst case scenario, Chance gets your money, and the game is dead on arrival.
On the bright side, I've decided to take up all the development.
can I ask a clarifying question? Like, so he is your the third-party developer. Your initial contracts were for like some sort of percentage of revenue once the game actually launched. Was that how it was originally set up?
See the contract? I'm no longer with Burning Lands. I can just send it to you.
Yeah. I've got some people who are kind of curious about how this is all set up.
Double check if you can actually
Hey,
share
if
it.
you
It's not
send it
like
to-
an
be
NDA for 5
careful
years.
with.
Hold on.
Even
Hold
Karma
on.
cuts in here. Oh my
Hold
God.
on. Just make sure you're not going to cock yourself legally by sending that
don't do
contract.
that.
Yeah, I was actually going to say, you're not
I
under,
was
you're
just
not under
going
NDA,
to
are
ask.
you?
You could send a redacted version.
I was just going
guess,
to ask
But
from a
generally, is
journalistic
that the
capacity.
gist? Is that the yes? Like you were expecting revenue percentage of revenue from the game when it like actually launches? Is
It's in
that
the
how?
contract.
What
It's in
you
the
were?
contract.
correct.
Yeah. All
But,
right.
but he admitted to saying that he was not going to pay them.
Was there a
because he made
time
a payment.
frame that you guys were expecting on your end for when it was going to release or when to start expecting revenue, or are you just like I'm just expecting all this effort to pay dividends down the road?
Yeah, that what it was in
years.
the beginning. That's what the contract essentially was, and there was in the beginning. Kind of Chance touched on this a little bit, but there was this kind of idea that like it was still the modern mindset of like, yeah, we're gonna make this project. It's gonna be a passion project, and it's gonna pay eventually. But just given how the situation's changed, it's just not worth it.
So with the notice of strike and we want changes, sorry, can you just clarify what the specific change was with the percentages or with like upfront money, like we want to see some upfront cash now before the Kickstarter went out, or like what was the argument there with Chance? If any of the devs are still here, could actually answer that as part of like reimbursement or whatever.
I think there's multiple
what?
devs in here.
So yeah, I did not.
So
Well,
can you just state the question again? Sorry.
Yeah.
Jackale's in here as well.
Okay, yeah. Just so with the strike notice that you sent to him,
Yeah.
what did you want to change? Either percentages of like reimbursement or like did you want
No.
upfront money now? Or what was it?
Pretty sure I can probably speak for everyone and say that we weren't concerned about the money coming to us at this point. Like we would be happy to receive money later down the line, just like our original contract stated with revenue. We just wanted to make sure that the money was going to go towards development and not paying his rent or legal bills or whatever else he's got going on in the background, because that's kind of what it seemed like was happening with the pre-Kickstarter funds.
Gotcha.
actually-
All right. Good. That's good to know.
During internal
The
meetings,
issue
we
is
actually
the communication inside. We
Yeah.
don't have a good communication, and so Chance can do
Okay.
something and don't talk to us and do it instantly. So that's the main issue.
Quick
Let's go,
question
mate.
from a journalistic
That's
standpoint
great.
for the developers: were there non-disclosure agreements signed?
As part of the contract, yeah.
Yeah, it's like a 2-for-1, where it's the contract and NDA in the same document.
Okay.
I think one thing
just
that,
2 for 2 me.
one thing that
Just
kind of
a-
saves us a bit is that there's
You need
no
to be very careful
specified.
what you do going forward. Then, if that's
Yeah,
the case.
I was gonna say that
Yeah, might
because
not.
I've covered these similar situations a few times in the past, and a lot of times where non-disclosure agreements came into play. My advice to the developers is to go back and reread those non-disclosure agreements, because you don't want to give him any ground to stand on.
Yeah. Do not put yourself in any legal jeopardy in talking in this discussion. If you do not think that you have any grounds, or if you're not confident or don't know, it's best that any developers here who might still be under contract or might still have some way to give this guy leverage over you, it's best for you to not say anything.
Also, for those that
I think
already
you should
don't
lay
have
low.
a contract anymore,
Lay low,
'cause
fellas.
NDAs usually go on for a few years after contract ends. So
100%.
There's no
100%.
specified deadline in it. I think that's what kind of saves us a little bit, is it doesn't even mention when the NDA or the contract would end.
When that thing started.
Well, then that
like,
means it's
when
probably
he
not even
decided?
an enforceable contract.
I was gonna say, I don't
would
think it's
definitely take
enforceable
that
at
to an
all.
The
attorney.
contract says it ends when it's terminated, so I think technically it's okay.
Okay.
No, no.
Again, though, be very careful.
Until
Consult
you are
a lawyer.
terminated, you are not terminated. Keep that in mind. You are not formally terminated yet. Until that point comes, your contracts are still valid.
Yeah, talk to a lawyer in your area as to whoever may be able to decipher the legalese surrounding it. I'm no lawyer in Australian contract law, and that's what it sounds like is
Yeah.
the jurisdiction to
Well,
this.
that's where I'm going to ask.
Get your local echidna
That's exactly
barrister
what I'm
to
going to
help you out.
ask.
You'll be fine.
Is what is the registered entity of this company?
Australia.
Can someone tell me that?
Is there like an ABN or something, or?
Yeah. So what's the registered entity? Where's the ownership?
What
Are we
the
talking?
fuck
Is
is
it
the
under
zero hour,
his?
isn't it?
Is it under a company name?
I
Yeah.
mean, from
I
the
think it's under
little bit
0
that I've
Hour
gathered,
Interactive, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I
And who owns Zero? Is it sole trader? Is it company?
I mean,
hold on.
Is it an
Mad-ass
Australian
officer on
company?
chat.
If you can provide an ABN, then I can do a search.
Just
Yeah,
do
no, I
ABN
asked that
search.
question and he
There's
dodged
like an
it.
ABN register.
You can
I
search
did
the
ask
name
that
of
question and he
ABN
dodged it.
They should
Like from the U.S. it's the SEC perspective, right? So if they get audited, that'll be the real question. But if any inquiry is brought up, which that very well may happen due to the fact that they've gone on strike, that and I think they've someone mentioned, one of the devs had mentioned that they'd made that public to the Australian government that they're on strike. That very well may be brought up in terms of an audit. That to me is the real issue, right? Like pay to play, whatever. I mean, like it's sneaky, I'm sure, but at the end of the day, like if that's going into personal PayPal account, man, like that's where it's going to be the difference between is the business held liable or is Chance held personally liable in terms of the money? Because he can get fraud for that for sure.
Well, he can answer
For
personally.
sure,
He's
he
right
can
here.
get that.
I'm pretty sure it's a LTD versus LLC. There's some minor tax differences between the two, but for all intents and purposes, for the rest of them, they're considered the same type of company. So he should not be receiving funds personally for the company in that manner.
Well, it's
no.
very simple. Just have receipts for
plain
everything. Just have receipts for everything.
Company funds or so.
Right?
Yes and no. I mean, the question then, the reason why I would imagine the original request by the developers towards him to actually turn this into a legitimate company was not only to protect him and everyone else from the legal aspects, the financial aspects of dealing with taxation law and everything else, but was also to help grow and foster the company into something that could expand. To be nice here, don't say stuff like that. But to expand the company in a positive direction that the game could then grow into. And instead he chose to try and make this his own personal project and ignore the request of everyone else. I mean, even if he were to step aside and let some other people take on other leadership roles at this company and be a part of that board of directors, he still could have been in a leadership position, but he chose to try and take everything on himself and avoid, or he denied any culpability in the AMA, blamed everyone else but himself for the results of everything. And as far as I've seen for different Kickstarters like this, it's going to crash and burn.
I mean, it is going to
Well,
crash
wondering
and
it's about
burn
him
anyway
now.
because the
It's about
devs have
him now.
decided they don't want to work on it.
Yeah.
Glad they're
Even
bringing in a
if
third
he,
party who's going to come and actually finish the game.
I mean, even
Alright,
if they can finish the game, from the little bit that I've seen here and there, it's going to take
That's
a hell of a
tough.
lot more than 10 people at 83,000 for everyone to finish this game. It's still got at least a year and a half's worth of work to get
And
this
then-
to even early access.
Ants, are you going to say anything? Are you going to say anything at all? I'm
He's
getting
allowed to
tired.
sit in here.
I know.
Yeah,
I know.
let's give him
I'm
the,
waiting for him to say something. Like say anything.
Yeah, say
anything.
something.
Maybe he just wants to listen.
Anything.
Wow.
There, he said anything.
I mean,
Look at that.
Say PR is PR again. I want to hear that. It was very
All right,
exciting.
you're not going to entice anyone to start talking by
I'm
just
just gonna hit
pulling them into it. So
The-
just settle down for a moment, and we'll see what happens.
Guys,
at
he's
the
a
very
thing is-
least, I want to stress to everyone, please keep this civil. There's no reason to be throwing names. There's no reason to be calling anyone anything. It's just keep this civil.
So, forgive me if this
we
question
just
has.
go back and play Battlefield 2.
Forgive me if this question has already been asked before, but what would it really require in order to resolve the situation normally? Like, what's the cutoff point? What concessions are people willing to make, and what concessions are definitely not on the table? Like, because in fairness, like we all want this to succeed one way or another, and as much as we can shit and moan, we all got here because of the fact that we wanted a game like this. So, what would it take?
So from my reading of what the dev letter said and my understanding of the situation, and I'm not trying to step on anyone's toes. This is my take on everything. So let me just preface what I'm saying with that. My stance on this is the proper move with all of the questions as to what the leadership of the company, the direction everything's going and everything. The proper move would have been to step aside and let a board of directors take over the direction of the game. Chance could absolutely still be part of the development team. He could still be part of that board of directors, but to step aside, take ownership of any of the issues, questions, problems that have been happening, own that aspect and take responsibility for it. And then, more importantly, be transparent about where the funds of the company is going, not to the public, but at the very least to the dev team, so that there's some, paper trails, some transparency, some accountability to the actions of what everyone takes, so that payments can be made to people who have developed and have gotten some semblance of, gain out of this 4 years of a passion project, but also so that everyone knows where the money's going in the future. I mean, the biggest aspect of the transparency and the clarity towards the dev team was to make sure that everyone knew and what was the track heading forward, that everything was on track to going straight, that there wasn't any question about money missing or mismanagement or anything like that, and that they could trust that the company was going to be around 5 months from now and not just flop like every other Kickstarter that comes out half the time. So all of the demands, quote unquote, that were made in this letter were all reasonable business precautions that any professional business would have in place moving forward, especially if you're going into a venture capital type situation like this, where you're asking the general public to provide funding for your company. And just the sheer lack of transparency and willingness to accept when things may have gone wrong is why I'm no longer backing the project.
You don't know nothing.
True.
Oh my God,
I did open my statement with saying this is my opinion, so.
Hey Lois, I'm in the Burning Lands Discord.
Funnily enough, that was perfectly timed. But thank you for giving me your take. Like it was a decent take.
Yeah, genuine.
That was very well put together. Good job, man.
Let me just give you all of you my advice. The only advice you should all of you go do is that all of us in here, we should go back and play Battlefield Vietnam.
No.
How
about we
You say
just
that
not
on
go to
Battlefield
Vietnam?
4, which is an infinitely superior game, I'm
looking
gonna
up
say.
Fortnite right now. I don't know what he's talking about Battlefield Vietnam for.
I will say one thing really quick before I get cut off. So a lot of us in here come from Hell Let Loose, and we were all looking forward to this game. A lot of communities were looking forward to this game to get involved somehow, support it in every way that we can, just so we can have another game to play. And from my personal opinion or my personal statement, I'm very disappointed of how everything has been mismanaged and the direction. I've been waiting for this game for 4 years, and to see the state that it's in right now is very disheartening and very
To add on to that, the
we've been
funny
waiting,
part,
mate.
the funny part.
Let me finish. Let me finish.
Oh, go
ahead. No, I'm Danish.
I really hope, Chance, you're actually listening to this and not just thinking we're just talking shit, because obviously we all care because we're still in here, and there's some former devs from Hell Let Loose, from Black Matter that are in here, and I'm sure that they can probably give you some advice, because they brought Hell Let Loose to where it's at right now, recently, and I definitely want this game to be a thing, so that there's a huge player base that from Hell Let Loose that's looking for a new game to play, and I hope you're not just disregarding everything that's being said, and I hope you take it to heart. Thank you.
Well put.
Well said, man.
Yeah, I'm coming
I'll just
from
say
a-
that I'll just say this as well. It's absolutely disheartening, what this game could have been, it was a great loss. And knowing, imagining what it would have gone on to do, I suppose, it could have become so great. Yeah. But that's the way things are, right?
Yeah, I'm
just
coming
find
from
the
the
irony.
War of Rights
Sorry, go ahead.
community, and we had a similar problem when this game called Battle Cry of Freedom was supposed to come out, and the devs completely fumbled the game. And I think the same thing has happened where the devs at the 11th hour have been like, "Yeah, we don't want this game to come out anymore." So I mean, I speak Mandarin, so like I'll be fine. I'll play the game when he hires Chinese devs, but you guys can do your thing.
I,
You have to
I
look at
will.
it from
I
a
would like.
business perspective, though.
I hope Ji
Don't
Lao
worry,
gets
guys.
all of the
Squad,
revenue share. He's
squad
my
Vietnam
favorite.
mod, Vietnam mods. Don't worry.
I'll just say they don't really make these types of tactical shooters at that much anymore. I suppose they're a bit they're niche, I suppose, but I just want these games to succeed, and yeah, these
I think we all agree on
these
that.
games are getting rarer and
Like
rarer.
Beyond the Wire, like Beyond the
Yeah.
Wire just
Oh man,
flopped.
yeah, I was there for that.
Yeah, it's disappointment what happened to that.
I would like to stress and kind of
Glad I
draw
got a
attention
refund.
that the developers have been spending 4 years trying to get this passion project off the ground. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever for them to drop the bombshell that they did at 11 a.m. today, Eastern Standard, where I'm at. But at the time that they did, with the Kickstarter still alive, unless there was some major issues that needed addressed, and they wouldn't drop that kind of a bomb if they didn't want the game to succeed. They've exhausted all avenues that they could to get to this point that they felt that they could, and
For sure.
I thank them for at least informing the community about the fact that there is this issue going on, because it at the
Being
very
honest.
least allows the rest of
Totally.
us to properly allocate our money and put money where we want to. It's up to everyone to decide if they want to back this project or not. But as I've said, I don't feel confident in the direction that it's going.
The irony is, I don't
Well
think
said, mate. Well
anyone
said.
here is. I don't think anyone's here is saying that the content of the game is bad. Like I don't like. I still look at the footage and the pictures, and I've been following the game for a long time. I still think the content and the potential in it is incredible. Like
Could have been so
great.
That's
Agree.
what's so heartbreaking about it is that I didn't pull my Kickstarter donation because I thought the content was bad. I pulled it from an ethical standpoint. I pulled it because I just honestly I feel for the devs that have gone through all of this,
Spent
and when you
years.
hear the horror, you hear the heart like in that IP, they can't use that. That's gone. Like if they go to build another game, which I'm sure they will, and I hope they do, and I will gladly, and I hope someone posts it. I will gladly support any of the devs that coming out of this. If they build another game, I would gladly support them. But
Yeah.
that IP is gone. Like they can't use that IP unless they acquire it from a financial perspective. It's gone. All that work is gone, and that's what's just heartbreaking for me. And that's why I pulled. It's my donation's gone.
And I wholeheartedly agree with you. This game has potential, especially with the blunder Hell Let Loose has had recently in terms of the tactical
Heartbreaking.
shooter. Yeah, there's such an opportunity for this game. It could have been the next Hell Let Loose in being the next popular team-based, tactical shooter. But
It could have become so great.
the direction that the management is taking this game is the reason why I'm not supporting it right now. If they really want to turn this into a viable game, they need to grow up as a company and not be a modding based company that works off of feels and happy thoughts, but one that actually focuses on the business aspect and makes sure everything is legally tight and financially secure, not only for their safety, but for the backers' safety. I mean, this
I
is
think
this
the
is quite
ship has
honestly the
sailed.
entry to the big leagues.
The ship has probably
least-
sailed on that though. Like the
Yeah.
devs are not going to come back. Chance doesn't want them back.
I don't want 'em back.
What's happening now is just Chance trying to
What's
fix the
happening
game
now?
and finish it,
Yeah,
which makes
I mean
sense.
they've literally in the last 5 hours lost 20K off, or just about 20K off of the Kickstarter.
What
So
I don't
sorry.
understand. What I don't understand is, sorry for cutting someone off. If I did, I'll be really quick.
Okay.
What I don't understand is all the devs left.
Okay,
Or
set.
they all left like in a group. Now it's not just a case of one or two devs feeling the same way. It's all of them.
That's all of them.
Which obviously there's a root problem here that's not being addressed by Chance and whoever else runs Burning Lands, which I
They
believe is
unionized. They didn't disband.
They didn't
They
disband.
continued the
They've
project.
gone on strike.
Some of them were.
Okay, they went on strike, but I think the root issue is why they went on strike.
Issue is why they went on break.
Well, of course.
Yes.
Yeah,
Of course.
absolutely.
We've
There's
been
one
discussing
common
Absolutely.
denominator in
There's
that,
one
and
common denominator.
it's Chance and how he's decided to run this.
And he left again. By the way.
Yep,
Of course,
of
trust me,
course.
he doesn't want to
does
face
care.
responsibility.
truth
does
hurts,
not
man.
care.
I mean, he
Does not care.
has balls. He has balls for staying in his game.
Honestly,
Good.
honestly, I cannot see how
No
like he
fucking
can
see.
pie this off onto something else. He's literally the head. Like I don't know, man.
He is the head lead director for the game. There's no one else. Chance is the one in charge. Yeah.
You guys
Devs
bear
want to
in
finish the game
mind
just
that
without him.
you guys bear in mind that this server was before actually it was not Burning Lands before. It was
Wasn't
like
he?
the people that made the Australian faction and squad.
Yep.
Like there was supposed to be like a Israeli faction, but it got cancelled too.
Really?
Oh, the Australian faction got canceled as well?
No. I mean, like,
faction has been canceled.
He wanted to do the
there was an
IDF, I
Israeli
think.
faction in the game. IDF, yeah. There was before an IDF, like a concept of the Tower and the player model. There was there of it, and they canceled the project, and they just turned up in this game now.
Bro, Hamas?
Don't forget the noises for the Israeli.
I just want to say that I find it quite shocking that if you're developing a game and you have some sort of leadership and you just don't take accountability of whatever has happened so far, even the question I asked, he just did not take any accountability. He said that in relation to my question that I had posed also in here, that yes, he is responsible, but still it is the fault of the development and the bit of the community. So he is not at all taking accountability, and it's very damaging.
Yeah.
He's a pervert and a bully, and he's blamed everyone except himself when they've all come together and unionized and just made it so clear to everyone. If you haven't
Oh yeah,
seen,
there's
he was using his
we have some
personal
there's
channels
some
in this
pretty big-
Discord for BDSM content.
There's some
No.
pretty big claims.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No, that's factual. That's
But
factual.
the whole
There's nothing wrong with that.
The thing, it's not wrong with it. May I interject for a moment? The reason I, as an ex developer,
May I interject?
Okay,
let
well,
the man
so-
speak.
I don't wanna say this about- Shut up. Let him speak. There were many times where Chance would brag about. This is the reason why I'm against Chance. Was he would brag about doing things questionable in nature to women, and that's the real reason I'm sticking like with my guns against Chance here. Because from my experience with Chance, I don't believe a person of his position who has done the things he's done should be able to, walk away from, the indecencies he's committed.
Cancel him, bro.
Well, no matter what, I think
Any evidence, bro? Any evidence?
That's in process.
Citations,
I mean,
please.
He's like the Discord of Military Arms channel, like an Instagram or like a Military Arms channel where he like follows girls, and he just make that comment by that thing on the gun bunny girl. Go to bed then. You're a
I
big
mean,
boy.
I'm
Oh my
not.
God.
I'm not
Oh.
one to
Your
I'm not one to kink shame, especially if it's between two consenting adults or individuals.
Exactly.
Whatever floats your boat, floats your boat. I
Fuck
don't want
yeah,
to.
bro.
I don't want to hear
Yeah,
about it.
yeah, this is
but at the same
outside of the
time,
game.
yeah, this
Like,
is
you know.
outside of the game, and that's
Exactly,
more of
yeah.
an ad hominem. And as much as I may agree with you, Amish, that's
there'll be a
I think the
BDSM
direction.
DLC.
Well, sorry,
Yeah.
I want to clarify. The reason I brought this up was because it did, in fact, impact our development of the game. Because there were multiple times you'd go onto the Discord, the developer Discord, and see literally naked women. And one of the other developers
Hell
before
yeah.
requested Chance to stop doing this, to which he kind of just
No,
told him
please
to
stop.
suck it up.
He was trying to increase productivity.
When
That
Wolfie
being
was
the
in here,
case, yeah.
Diddy's
All right.
equals increased
No,
productivity.
Exactly.
He's increasing
That-
something.
Serious. Okay.
That
this is
completely
serious.
changed my
He's a
position. The fucker
professional-
needs to be removed. That's
Well,
unprofessional.
well, I was just taking a cupcake.
There's
Yeah,
no.
The point that he's making is fuck. The point that he's making is the same point that we've been talking about is the lack of professionalism and business sense.
Oh yeah,
and
for sure.
that's Chance is gone, but I mean hell if he's listening. The point of it is it's not run like a fucking business. Like
No,
this
it's
was
not.
not a business. And that's what
I
someone
said Amish,
messaged me and this is where I was feeling for him is that like this impacts the most is the devs. And at the end of the day, they're not getting any money from this. I'm so sorry. Like I feel for you. There's no money to be had. If you sue them, there's no money. I mean, like if you win a lawsuit against him, you're not getting any money. I'm sorry. Like there's just no money to be had. And so like I honestly I hope if Chance really was doing a lot of the stuff that he was doing from a financial standpoint, I hope that he faces criminal action. I really do.
Yeah,
Honestly,
yeah.
if he was committing fraud, that's the only justice and retribution that any of the devs are going to get out of it. Period. That's it.
How long were these developers working?
I'll just say this.
4
You
years.
saw the one
4 years.
regarding Amish, regarding cancer, father of cancer. Yeah, I'm just sending you a message right now, just saying send my condolences, and sorry you had to deal with that bullshit. It's absolutely disgusting and failure of management. That's how you treat your workers.
Is that story true about was that all deaf?
Yeah, that was to a dev.
Check AMA events. Check
He's
AMA
in the
events.
chat here. He's in the chat.
Now,
That's insane.
yeah, he's in the chat. Now, he may face criminal action related to that because I know that in the U.S., like that would be discrimination. Like that would fall under. I believe that would fall under. Maybe I can't remember if it's Title 9 or if it falls under. I don't think it would fall under ADA.
American here, what's your legal question?
And EA and DICE and all those other studios, like they would definitely had to be held accountable in that.
Oh, the channel's been closed.
WorkSafe might be able to pull them up on that, but it really kind of depends on if you got receipts, who you know at WorkSafe, because at WorkSafe, which is the basically like it's to ensure that the workplace is safe. You can probably get them on harassment or something like that.
We're the only one that supports Chance, bro.
Yeah, pretty much. And you just need receipts basically, and
yeah.
I
I think that's a long shot. So even if you had all that, it's a long shot.
Yeah,
So,
and also
but
some of the devs aren't Australian, so that makes it even more difficult because then they have to check.
Yeah, international.
And it's a fucking government agency, so its bureaucracy is going to be dog shit. But maybe might be able to do something about that. So,
yeah. At the end of the day, the conclusion is like he's probably gonna get away with it. That's the inevitability.
But how
and
though?
That's
I mean,
there's
honestly,
sort of thing happens.
What if? So
you
hold
cannot-
on. So he's from Australia, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't you file a complaint that he's performing fraud, like with the police?
Whole contact
but you would need evidence for it.
Yeah, you need hard
They
proof.
would have to audit him.
Well, the only person that would have evidence, I guess, the only people that would, if there's any, is the devs.
You wouldn't technically need hard
with the
evidence.
authorities.
The more evidence you have is the more reason they have to open an investigation.
Right.
Yeah, but just a question for everyone here: would you guys support the devs? Would you guys support the devs if they just reunionized, got rid of Chance, and carried on the project? Would you guys support them?
100%.
Absolutely.
This is not about the project. It's about Chance. It's always been about.
The thing is, that was even a question from me to him. I asked him like if he was willing to step down or even be something in the background and not being like on the leading aspect. He just refused to answer that question as a whole. And that's already what I was thinking. So if he's going to go down, he's going to bring everything down. The problem is we cannot hurt him because we can bash at him or whatever. If he likes BDSM, he's sitting there every time with a hard on when we are bashing him because he likes it. So
yeah, I mean
that's a different kink from experience. That is a different kink, my good sir. That is entirely fucking different.
BDSM and masochism are two different things.
What are you guys talking about?
See, here's the thing though. Would you really want Chance the opportunity to work in the background? Would you not just rather get rid of him because he's proven that he doesn't want to work in a manner that is both professional as well as transparent?
Yeah.
You
can't let it go on.
He will never give it up. I mean, that's just what it is. That's
Yes,
just
ego
reality.
is just so big.
He'll burn it to the ground before he lets anyone
Lost
else run it.
15k USD.
He sounds quite young as well. Like, do we know roughly how old he
Now
is?
it's all
In the
burning down.
20s.
Now
He's
it's
in the
all burning
20s.
down, eh?
Chance and I are about the same age.
About that, but
If
he
you
seems
seriously
He's like
remove the
halfway
AMA
through
Look at the
channel,
Kickstarter.
But that's
Can I
also
actually
his
ask a serious
thing.
question for a
If
He,
second?
hold
The
on, he
devs
removed
still in
the.
here?
He did. Oh my god.
Yeah, they
He's
are.
in the
Yeah, he did.
20s, and
He-
his ego is just too big.
Yeah,
he
he's
did.
way-
He-
He cannot lead a company like
In
this. He's
regards
not-
to your
he's
employment
incompetent.
contract, what entity is noted as the employer?
0 Hour
0
Interactive,
Hour.
which is
Yeah.
I believe someone said it was an LTD,
Damn,
which
I'm
is
stupid.
Yes.
similar to an LLC in Australia. So
Does it list
limited
an
liability.
ACN number?
They had a what did they call it? They have a number.
An ABN, an Australian business number.
Yeah, AVN. There you go. Yeah, but that's still a private entity. Like that's still a private business entity.
There you go. For the person asking for the ABN, I went ahead and put it into this stream chat.
There you go.
Well, thank
Why,
you.
why did that's he remove?
before.
And what I'm asking, that
Well,
was
thank you for
listed
that.
on the contract, correct?
No,
Correct.
it's not listed on the contract.
Why did he remove the AMA channel?
Because
he's
he got
It's-
fucking roasted in it. That's
The chat had dissolved into nothing more but name calling and constant berating, which is neither useful or
It's pathetic.
Oh,
it's a bit too much. So
It's
Yeah,
just too much.
Well, in fairness, the
Let us
AMA
fuck with
No,
his
what
friend,
the
right?
hell?
Come
was
on.
fed. You know,
What is this?
that as well.
That is Chance for anyone that's wondering what he looks like.
Why
Oh,
is he uploading
gosh.
things like that?
All right.
He
It's,
also does folks,
Is that Chains?
okay.
Are you
for-
kidding
that is
me?
Chance.
What is
For
fuck
the
is this
sake
shit?
of having this set-
No way. That's no way.
For the sake of having it said, going after someone's character while in a business disagreement is just poor show. Like,
Yeah, but
I
the thing
agree.
is,
Do you
it's
care?
just a
That's
poor
it.
show. I have zero fucking feelings for Chance, but
his
it's
behavior,
it's just a bit
has
shitty.
been very dismissive and degenerate towards us, the community itself.
For
Yeah, he has
sure.
called us also many things. So it's normal to go after him them as well. You know, if he
Look,
touches us, then
I
I would say that
get your
different
sentiment.
can
I get the
worms.
statement. I get the
Yeah.
sentiment, and I get the statement. But if you are such an immoral high ground as I am, then don't fucking devolve yourself towards doing shit like him.
Well,
Like, if that is the stance that
Yeah.
you want to take, then just sit in your fucking
Defamation at
high
its-
ground and
at
then
its
just sit
highest point.
steady.
yeah.
Like,
It's
Don't lower
better-
yourself to his
better to-
level, man. What the
yeah,
hell? Don't.
better to let him
Just
wallow in
rename the
the
voice chat to something a bit more appropriate.
But the
Yeah.
thing is, it's not just only that towards the community. He's also just, if it is true that he's embezzling some money, because $3,000, if I saw it pass by in the MAA, that it just disappeared. Yeah, it went up in marketing and whatever. Well, there was no marketing, that he just put it in his own pocket to build a new sex dungeon.
But we see
Whatever
this in
he did
business all
with
the
it-
time. You can't prove it. That's the hard
No,
part. Like the only
yeah,
way
but the-
that the only way is if he gets audited, and even then, who knows? Like that's the
wanted that as
tricky
one of their
part.
conditions.
That's a long shot, man.
See where it went. And he
Yeah.
would not
Now-
accept that,
now-
which is
The
why
only
he's
people
committed.
that
treat like a
only-
filthy person,
The only people
so-
that can't get their money back is us pre-Kickstarter backers. Everyone else has the opportunity to still go into the Kickstarter and take their money out. I mean, I knew the
Imagine
risk
being a
going into this.
pre-Kickstart backer.
I mean,
Technically,
I've been
none,
in the
none of us
playtest and
have
have
a
done the
right to know where the
playtests
money goes.
for
We're
the
not
last 2 months.
investors. We're backers. There's a difference. Like,
Well,
if
you
you're
still
investing,
have-
you can go, show me the
yeah,
receipts.
because you
We're
won't
not
have
You're
investors.
kind of biased. You're kind of biased because you
Yeah.
already paid money. I totally,
Mm-hmm.
I fully understand that. But I know you understand my point of view, which I just see developers talking shit about each other. Some guy stealing the project or whatever. The general.
We can disagree and
the
have their
general
opinions,
story.
but please stop profaning.
Who's
And,
biased though?
and it's
You gotta
like
correct
I'm
that, bro.
supposed to like I fully want to back the game. Well, I backed the game. I joined the Discord, and I heard that they're telling me to stop backing the game. Pretty much.
That's your total choice. You
I
have the right to
Yes,
do
thanks,
that. But
I-
we're just saying for people who are, saying a chance of stealing money. Sure, he may be doing that, and he stole us, our money who have been doing the
rumor.
playtests. But everyone else has the opportunity to still go back and cancel
Oh,
their
yeah.
Kickstarter.
Everybody.
Everyone has the ability to decide to do with their money what they want. If you still want to back this project, that is up to you. I am advising not doing so, if only because I have seen projects like this on Kickstarter where, yeah, it looks like it'll launch, it looks like it's going in an okay direction, but with the entire dev team going on strike and Chance's refusal to turn this into a legitimate company by having a proper board of directors, financial transparency, at least to the dev team, so that they know where the money is going, this project will crash and burn, and you will not see a game from it. You are better off taking your money and backing a completely different project than this one. I am sad that that is the case. I want this game so badly as well, but this project will not get off the ground.
I can say with confidence as
you don't know if
as
the
a
game is gonna crash and
well,
burn.
from
as a
YouTube
YouTuber, I know other YouTubers like Big Fry will do his videos. I will do my videos. The story will get out there. It will make the rounds. The thing of it is, even those that want to continue to support this game on Kickstarter, if it manages to maintain its funding threshold after people start pulling their money back out of it, at the end of the day, ultimately, this game will not succeed, regardless of whether the Kickstarter goes through or not, specifically because at that point, he will have gotten rid of the original dev team that were the driving force behind this project to begin with and replace them with a completely new entity. And that stigma will follow the game through at every step of the day, every second of every hour of every day. As such, it will not succeed.
He also got rid of them without
If it
paying
even
any of them.
gets to the early access stage, it will
don't think
be
it does.
a surprise.
I don't-
And even
they're
after
losing the
that,
money.
it will not be able to be profitable.
Any
If
developer.
I can add on to what Sid was
I
saying
want that.
really quickly.
The most
As
important
well
thing
as
is just to remind the community the whole time of what he has done. That's the only thing, or how it is going, or what he has done is the only thing to remind the community over and over again, or what is now in the Discord to keep like the flow going of, he has to change or step down or whatever to save this project if he wants to save it. But we all know that he wants to go down with it. He won't step down or whatever. So that's it.
And to add on to what Sid has said, sorry to cut anyone off, but the game will be DOA, even if it makes it to early access, despite whatever you guys YouTubers will say as well on your YouTube videos. I've looked through the channel here and I'm seeing a lot of clan leaders because games like this, they live or die on the community servers that run the servers. If they don't have the community servers running them, they're not going to have any players to play on servers. Official servers will kill the game. The community servers won't be around. It will live and die on that. Hell Let Loose was the same. You kick the community servers out, Hell Let Loose will die. And I'm seeing a lot of clan leaders here. And if all these guys have the same opinions as you all do, this game is dead regardless. It doesn't really matter.
I mean, to give you an idea, the game has literally...
These clans have massive power and whatnot. And they're able to rally communities and everything. And since the heads are here, it's burning down, fellas. It's burning down.
The game has literally lost 20. The game has literally lost $20,000 in Kickstarter backing since the letter first dropped.
I took my $1,000 out.
Any developer, any developer with any brains will not work with like on a promise on this project anymore. They will want the money up front.
Yeah.
So I'm interrupting.
Tune back up. Like, what the fuck? Woke up this morning and then what the fuck?
You want me to come back or are you busy?
I know. Yeah, great way
I
to
got
start
stuff
your
to do.
great
You
way
want
to
me to come
start your
later?
Sunday. Great
Hey,
way to
Gary.
start your Sunday.
You should have seen my face when I read that, bro. I was so happy. I'm going to set up a lawn chair with some beers.
All the
I just wanted to use
Real quick. How great is that, eh? That's pretty great. She has to.
Why?
Landlord's going to kick her out.
Why?
The kids are moving back in.
Break.
Real quick. The people who are making videos on this topic and information that was shared here.
It's Chance's son. I get along with him great.
Okay,
his daughters.
Hey, this has been a fun shit show.
Just real quick. The people who are making YouTube videos on this, make sure you're not going to get in trouble for defamation, because who knows how factual this information is. It's privileged information too. Hold on, it's privileged information.
No.
Let me talk.
This
Let
is
me
an
finish.
open platform, my friend.
Yes, I get it, but
hello, one button. Congress now.
But what I'm saying is, just be careful of what you divulge in your videos.
It can still happen, yeah.
Your opinion is wrong. You will probably get copyright striked or. What do you mean?
I'm just gonna sue you for making me feel bad now.
All right,
You don't know
all
a
right.
goddamn thing.
All right, buddy. All right.
I would not worry about any legal backlash.
I would just say something up real quickly, which is about this the developing the company, which is will this also affect the Australian faction and squad if this thing's dead?
No. Two completely separate entities. my guy.
That was sold to OWI a long time ago. That's done and over with.
OWI has been on that shit since.
Like wouldn't be OWI will like pulling the Australian faction out if something happened to this?
No. OWI owns that.
That is owned by OWI
All right.
from now on. So
What if you fix Squad and sell it to OWI so we can play a proper game?
Jesus, dude.
Can you do that?
All right,
Is that
so
possible?
bringing this
we have
back
taken
on,
a German OP moment.
Bringing this back on to topic here to catch
German
anyone
OP.
else up who joined us. The general sentiment that was received from Chance when he did his AMA was he decided to place the blame for all of the problems of the project on everyone but himself. He blamed the community, he blamed the dev team. He said the door was open for the dev team to communicate with him as to what they wanted. But what the dev team actually put forward was reasonable business terms, a board of directors that ran the game instead of just him, proper financial protections and transparency in place, and just general things that you would see from a normal business standpoint. And Chance refused to do that, went ahead with the Kickstarter anyways. And that is why I have pulled my funding for the game. The game has also lost $20,000 in Kickstarter pledges since 11 a.m. this morning, the most recently in the last hour or two since his talk. But if anyone has a recording of the AMA, especially his initial speech at the very beginning, I would say post that up onto YouTube as quickly as you can. I'd love to share that around.
Gold.
Yeah.
So this is him just being a
I don't know if you guys
narcissist.
can hear me.
Yeah, he's
Hey, can
kind
I,
of shown
can I
Chance
say
as
something?
being. What's up?
Okay, so I just heard about this from right now, like from Big Fry's video. I have personally spoken to Chance, without even knowing anything about the dev team and the issues or whatever. Why are you yelling? But as a person that's been trained in interrogation, sorry, I'm a loud voice. I'm Middle Eastern. That's how it's been. I will not apologize for my genetics.
I'm gonna tell you a thing or two about intimidation, man.
So here's the thing. So this is what it, as a person that's been trained in interrogation, and been on both sides.
It's
The
changing.
psychological. Bottom line, hold on, time out. The psychological. No. Israeli. Israeli. But listen. On a real note, the psychological mindset of Chance, of that guy who is the guy that was controlling everything, is a complete narcissistic version of Hitler. Listen, no, seriously, of like a Hitler slash Genghis Khan. Okay, wanted complete control over everything, and there's no way any project, any military, any gang, any type of organization that will be successful long term past the death of the emperor would ever be unless there was any way of communicating with other people. And he told me,
When we raiding Area 51.
Your resume, please.
One more thing. He told me basically he would never allow any changes to the game or structure from how he saw it being fit, and he was willing. And now I hear this makes me realize why I was hesitant to give him money. You know, so I went and I slept with my friend's sister. You know, I thought it would have been a better investment.
There's the hundred. There it is.
I've heard of coming out of left field. That is far out of left field.
Yeah, Juhani, will you interrogate him for us? You can do
it. Is that wrong? I mean,
I'll just say two things. I'm just saying two things here. One, Swift is working overtime in the general chat. This is great. And then second, just remember what they took from us. Just remember what they took from us here. I'm just going to post it in the
Let's
voice
make
chat.
Swift work double shifts.
Can't burn VC.
Ignoring everyone.
I'm just putting it in the voice chat. Remember what they took. Just remember what they took from us. All right. That's why I wanted to get this game. I wanted to use that.
I think
now I can't.
All right.
Now I can't.
I agree with that, but remember,
if it's any
keep things
consolation,
civil.
dude.
You can play Rising Storm.
Pro Fire has that, so if you're willing to fuck around with armor for a second, you can always try the Pro Fire game in that. But yeah.
Wait, what?
Disappointing. Yeah, so
Is
Pro
it in?
Fire has it. Yes, dude.
I need my Sterling with grenade launcher.
Yeah, they have two public Mike Force servers that are pretty active, so you can fuck around with that. And
For armor, you said?
Yeah, for armor.
Armor 3. Prairie Fire. I thought they had.
I've heard wrecked things about Prairie Fire. I haven't gotten into it myself, but my armor group with Soul Sniper is probably going to go that way soon.
I haven't done any like private servers on it, but the public servers, I mean, it's got public fucking random, so it's kind of shit, but it's pretty fun.
You lie.
Those are the guys.
Yeah, stop lying. Stop lying,
Is
bro.
it a server? Is it a server called
Please
Purify and
don't get my
Armor
hopes
3
up.
servers?
No, it's
what's
just
Prairie
Purify?
Fire is a community downloadable content that the Arma team. It's a group that have made a sellable DLC for Arma 3. I don't remember what group.
You're
it
an
is
interrogator and you can't find a mod?
Dude, I don't even play Armor 3. I've lived Armor 3. What are you talking about?
Just remember, everyone, that's what they took from us. That is what they took from us. Just don't forget that. All right.
Well, there's just one thing I could say. The only thing I could say is that chance was our last chance.
That was a terrible joke, and you should feel ashamed.
Yeah, that was a dad. That was a dad joke.
Yeah. Hold on. Why don't all you ladies get your skirts up higher so I can call them pants and build up a new project? Why?
All right.
What do you need this guy?
Anything you say seriously with that accent.
Everyone, cancel your pledges and just give me the money.
We would just talk in here. All of a sudden, Gunfly was in this chat.
I mean,
if you
from
ever
the
hear
first
this
playtest
sound,
to the more recent one, like last week, the devs had been in the previous playtests, but I'd say the last month they were nowhere to be found. So there was definitely something going on, and a few of us.
Yeah, this has been
idea.
going on well before the Kickstarter started. At the very least a month or two, from the things that I've heard and everyone talking recently today to me about it. This has been going on longer than the Kickstarter. And one of the points that was brought up that with Chance saying, well, why didn't they just bring this up before? Why didn't they say something before all of this happened? This was a passion project for 4 years. They didn't bring it up because there wasn't anything tangible to be held as to financial gain or benefit from this project. It's not common, at least in my mind, that you would try to set aside or straighten out, we'll get this kind of compensation when we go live. People don't normally talk about that kind of stuff until there's a viable product in front of them that they could actually turn around and start doing stuff with.
And also,
so
true. That is definitely not the Jewish mindset. And if they had a Jewish mindset,
my God. Get this guy out of here. Get this guy out of here.
And I've muted him.
What do you mean?
Oh man.
I'm going to invest my time.
But to carry on what I was saying,
saying.
it's they wouldn't have tried to, or they wouldn't have thought to talk about organizing the company properly or setting up proper transparency until a couple of days or some time before the actual Kickstarter launch. So the argument like they only just now brought it up doesn't make sense to me.
No,
from
no,
Chance's
because in the MAMA, they said like one of the former devs of the dev said that it was already said to them, to Chance, like, hey, we have to change communications and shit like that. There was already quite of a dictator-ish.
I spoke to the dev in a private message. The dev that I spoke to a dev, and this is
mindset that lost the war. That's the mindset that lost the war.
Guys, can I say a couple things? First off, I don't know exactly what happened, but I got the gist of it and I pulled my pledge. Second, I noticed Wombat Medic's in here. I'm a huge fan, and I'm so sorry you're leaving Hell Let Loose. And God bless you in your future endeavors. You're amazing.
Wait, is she in here? Oh, she is.
I second that.
Yeah,
You were very good.
she's playing in the fucking sketch heads. You'd know that if you were a real one.
Elle est loose, c'est pas mal, mais les règles du cinéma, ils sont vraiment pourries, quoi.
Okay. All I'm going to tell you, if you ever hear this,
So the general takeaway to try and sum this up again for everyone who's come in, the dev team has gone on strike fully from the game itself. The original devs who have been working on this for 4 years, they're currently on strike. The reason being is Chance has essentially kind of turned this into his own personal ego project and has refused to
100%.
set up a board of directors, a group of people who would actually run this project like an actual company instead of the mod team that they were before. And they're not turning it into a company that has the proper transparencies in both the financial and legal aspects. And it's just Chance is running this project into the ground because he refused to relinquish control to some of the other members. They were even saying that he doesn't have to completely step down as a leader of this project. He could be on the board of directors. It just wouldn't be him completely at the helm. And he didn't like the sound of that, and so he's refused to he's been firing people off for half-assed, legally questionable means. There's been other things about the way he's been treating some of the other
Another thing
devs as
to
well.
note
One of
is,
the devs had a family member who had cancer, and
I think he started this Kickstarter. I think he launched it as a strong arm tactic. I reckon there's been discussions behind the scenes for a while. And I think he's just started this Kickstart without the game ready to try and force them to work on it.
And he still lost that fight. It's amazing how dumb you can be.
Real quick, how much of the game would you say, percentage-wise, is actually completed?
They have more
You're gonna have to
content
believe
done
Chance's
in
statements.
a workable
I don't know if we
state
can believe
than
those.
the Squad Kickstarter
One
and
at
Hell
a time. One at a time.
Yeah.
Okay. Say again. Sorry.
Brother, you said Squad Kickstarter.
Do we have any
Not like
information
Squad.
from someone that isn't
Everyone,
about the...
He's a free
One at a time, everybody. One at a time.
Yeah, I've been doing all the playtests since they started. The
Okay.
stuff they have in the game already, it's a lot more than I expected. Like, the content is there. They have some things to work on, but for when those who were in the Squad Kickstarter and Hell Let Loose Kickstarter, it blows it away. The assets they have done, yeah. I mean, for what we have and the condition the game is in, yeah, I mean, it definitely, it's sad to see.
The potential for the game is 100% there, especially as
It's more
Jason
than
Bourne
there.
said.
It's more than there, yeah.
If the original dev team were to come back to this, I could 100% see them taking the money from this Kickstarter and actually turning it into a viable product that will compete and maybe even do better than Hell Let Loose. The problem is
I have a legal
it has
question.
a person
I have a legal
who's
question.
sitting at the
We're
leadership.
not lawyers,
of this.
man.
Yeah, they're sitting at the leadership of this, who's literally running this into the ground.
Legal
people
question:
want a
who owns
game,
the
right?
rights to
And
all the
right now
work?
there's a
Who
niche in the
owns the
market to where
rights?
this thing could really just take off to unimaginable
There'll
levels.
be this dungeon in the
But
game.
I
Well,
mean,
look at Hell Let Loose. The game's pretty old, but yet it's still got thousands of players
So,
on it.
well,
as
we're
regards
not.
to
I'm
who
not even going
owns
to get
the
into that
IP,
discussion, but my opinion
who
on that
owns
is
the
different.
IP is, Chance owns the majority of
Chance
it.
is back.
But
He's
from
back
what
in the
we
town.
heard, there are some contracts that wouldn't be, wouldn't
Hey, man.
legally hold up, and the people who signed those, their IP would be theirs. That's what we heard a little bit earlier.
But we can't question, we can't talk about what is or is not legal contract wise, or what will or will not hold up. That's
True.
getting into a
No,
gray
just do
area
it.
that I certainly don't feel comfortable talking in.
Just do it, bro.
If there are any developers,
unjust
they would need
enrichment.
to contact legal counsel before they should say or do anything further
Let,
on this kind of a project.
let Chance talk. He's here. Chance is here. He can talk, right?
I mean,
Can do a
he's popped
speech.
in and out. He's
He's in
just
the call.
probably just
Speak, Chance.
listening and
Chance,
the
speak.
discussion. That's
Show yourself.
I mean, what I'm getting from it.
I mean, he legitimately just did. So I mean, regardless, like, wait, this. Oh, he's.
Didn't hear no bell.
Hey, Chance, you should probably get some testosterone shots, dude.
Hey, don't go after someone like that. Don't
Shut
fucking
up,
lower
bro.
yourself to
remove
Keep
this
bullshit.
guy
this civil.
from the voice.
Look, end of the day, there's always three sides to a story. Their side, his side,
And the truth.
and then the truth somewhere in the middle. Don't know what level it's going to be, at what end of the truth it is, but look, let's be respectful.
Yeah, that's all
There
it
was a
is.
great potential in this game. There's been a lot of excitement over a period of time. Personal attacks are pretty shit. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Let's just see how this works out over time.
I will tell you
The
this:
game
from a
still
Middle
has
Eastern person,
potential if the person
It's
who's
my
running it
mic.
turns around and
being detected.
Yeah, we can hear you.
We can hear you.
Yeah, we hear your Chance.
We
if
can
you ever hear
you.
this sound, that means get low or send back the same sound. Don't be an ostrich, okay? Don't be an ostrich.
Might need to
If you ever
upgrade your microphone.
if you're ever walking in the mall,
Yeah,
and you're
like,
really
please,
just
if you can-
What's his
Just
name?
kick him.
He's
Muted him.
He's
Yeah,
kind
we
of
need
annoying.
we
God
need
bless
Swift
y'all.
in here.
Where is this guy
Yeah,
smoking,
I've
bro?
already muted him, so I haven't been hearing him
Who
for like
is
the
it?
past 20
You're
minutes.
missing out, man. You're missing out.
Jihadi.
Jihadi.
Oh, you're
Shit, my
missing
man
out.
tastes
Yeah,
brown gravy.
Jihadi?
all I'm
Server
saying.
mute him,
Whoever
please.
Yeah,
owns the
Jihadi.
right.
Jihadi.
What the hell?
Nah, just banning.
Okay.
Get rid of it.
I'm muted. No. I'm just gonna make
And
doing
create a new project and do it properly from the beginning. Period. At the end of
Spit
the
it
day,
out,
you
Mike.
can't have a.
Oh my god.
Like my one question to you is, Chance. Like, you do know how serious this situation is, right? Not only
I'm assuming
from the
he's well aware,
developers.
my friend.
No, because it for me it feels like it is not being taken serious. That's just from my perspective, you know. So I
Yeah,
respect
that is.
I can agree with
Yeah.
that.
So I'm trying to answer something.
Can I say something? The thing is, what can we do about it? We're not like
I don't know. You could
We're not
you
in
could
his
listen for a
position.
moment.
We're not in his position. I mean, no one knows what it feels like to be in that position. So,
Am I being detected?
Yeah, we're hearing you.
Yeah, we hear you.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, it's just really hard to hear from my side. Okay, so essentially, do I take this serious? Fuck yeah. Have I tried to engage in conversations and discussions? Fuck yeah. It's why I ended up trying to. Okay, let's just put it this way. It's a bit of a question, but I'll use it this way. If I
All right, just let the man speak, please. Come on.
For real, man. What the fuck?
Yeah, it's pretty fucking petty. If I wanted to not have discussions and conversations, would I just not have fucking banned everyone or muted them? I'm trying to keep all the channels open to have these discussions. Do I want to have it during an AMA? No, because these are business matters and should be handled internally, not externally. Do I think that it's professional of the way that they've kind of gone and handled it by making it public when they've had the means to continue these discussions with me for the past 10 days? Fuck no. Like I said in the beginning of the other call, I have no malice against them. I've been waiting for them to reach out. But there does become a point where if you're not delivering anything, like, why are you here? When it comes down to negotiations, I'll put it in a very simple analogy or example. If the train line stopped and because they're trying to negotiate something, at some point it's like, okay, how about you open up a very limited amount of trains to operate? So at least some people are operating whilst we continue these discussions. I essentially did the same thing. Hey, while we're having these discussions, just engage with the community, attend play sessions, and we can continue these discussions. Show a good sign of faith in the project. I'll read the message out. The 2nd of November, 2023, 6:38 p.m. While these discussions continue, I urge you to demonstrate a strong sign of faith in the project itself by actively involving yourself during the Kickstarter period to ensure that it does not hinder the company's funding opportunities. You can maintain your stance of not working directly on the project, but must uphold a visible public presence and engage with the community. This includes being present during the playtests and fostering general interaction within the community. If these straightforward terms are not met, there will be no need for further discussions regarding your matters. Essentially saying, just be a part of the community while we continue these discussions. 10 days. 10 days of not hearing a single word.
So
and I'm happy to
The
I'm
question
happy
that
to
I
have
have for
these
you,
discussions.
Chance. The question that I
Let him
have for you,
talk.
Chance, is why are you not willing to open up to the idea of creating a board of directors that you would be a part of to
How can you
allow
say that?
for?
Because that's why I've left the door open. That's why I've said for these discussions to continue. I asked them at that call, who would they be, how many would there be, and who would be covering it. And they said they don't know how many, and that they would be covering the fee. Okay, so one of three answers have been answered. Where is the discussion in regards to, okay, these are the guys that we're thinking about, this is how many we're thinking of. 10 days it's been, and instead of giving me that answer, they've gone out and publicly posted this. So
gone.
So
10
they're
days
lying then?
silent and then come out. There's
what are they lying
like there's
about?
something else there.
We've been hearing completely opposite from
Yeah.
several of the different devs that they have gone to you and said these are the people that we would want on the board.
No, for starters, I'm sure that this was done from multiple points. I said at the beginning of the call that we had on the 1st of November that I was going to record it, and they all agreed. And I'm sure one of them has also recorded it themselves for such reasons. So there can be that information used internally, not externally, to fucking disparage or whatever the fuck the word is against anyone. But there has been that information said. I asked, one of the questions was, if I was to bring on a board of directors, what is stopping all of them from voting me out of the company? There was also questions in regards to bringing on a project lead. Can't do that without money, which is partly what the Kickstarter was for. And we can't do that without the funding. And I said that I didn't want to bring on a project lead from internal. I wanted to bring it from an external point of view. So they didn't have a role within the company previously. And the that was essentially it. It was just the 2 points that were never answered and said that they would need to have further discussions. And I said, if they're to continue, I just want you to show a good sign of faith in the project and just turn up to play tests and just engage with the community. And for 10 days, that has not been met at all whatsoever. No interaction, no messages have been responded to. Like, what am I meant to do? If I leave the door open, like, you are meant to be coming to me. You wanted this, you engaged in this original conversation. I'm trying to have it. I'm not going to be like, hey, what's happening? Do you have an answer for me yet? Like, if you are choosing to if you are choosing not to do anything about it when I've engaged in it and I'm open and receptive to the idea, but I want to know how you think it's going to work, all this kind of stuff. If I don't have any of that information, nothing can happen. So nothing has happened.
Do you feel that it was wise to actually start the Kickstarter with your dev team not on board with you on this, though? Because from what we have heard and my understanding of the situation, again, outsider looking in, but the dev team was not on board with launching the Kickstarter because the game was not in a state they felt that was worth that.
They
Do
didn't
you
know.
think it is still wise? Do you think it is still wise to carry on this Kickstarter knowing that you do not have a dev team behind you to support you? You've literally lost
so number one.
$20,000 in since the note went up.
Can I answer now?
Yeah.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, okay. The answer in regards to your question, do I think it was wise? Yes. Why do I think it was wise? Because the discussions and the demands that they had suggested can be discussed in length throughout the period of the development. Not only does development just cease in a sense, there was going to be a few things getting done over the course of the Kickstarter period, which was the move to Unreal Engine 5.3 and just some level design development. So at the time, do I think it was wise? Yes. There was another question that you asked, which I've kind of forgotten. I think it was like the development team didn't think that the Kickstarter was ready. That's not true. We ended up getting a build out, and I ended up getting asked by the lead programmer saying, like, is that everything? Like, are we sorted to be able to film a Kickstarter? And I said yes. And that's when we stopped doing any additional builds, and we started focusing on doing 5.3 and getting ready to go to Kickstarter. I ended up posting at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Oh, sorry, at like 11 o'clock. I'm actually not going to give you numbers. I'm actually just going to look. And then I have to go in a second, so I'll give one more question and my public statement coming out. At 1:24, I said that we're going to go live with Kickstarter between 11 and 1 a.m., roughly 10 to 12 hours from now. And then one of the members posted up saying, if Kickstarter does go live tonight, regardless of what's happened afterwards or a success, well done, congratulations to everyone, blah, 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 blah. And then that was at 4:12, and then at 6:30, the message posted up in regards to the stand down strike.
So numerous devs
these discussions.
Numerous devs were in this call, pretty much saying the complete opposite of what you're saying. The very complete opposite.
I don't know. I wasn't in the call with you guys.
Right, but I just want to
So I don't know what they've said or what has been said. I can only go off the interactions that have been had with inside the written stuff. 27th of October, 6:30, they posted up their demands. At 8:39, I responded and set up a discussion. The following day, at 11:11 on the 29th, set up a call, saw you type, set up another one, and then said, I want to address your concerns and acknowledge that I've made efforts in regards to your demands. I've taken action on several points already raised. Blah, 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 big long message. No more attempts will be made beyond Wednesday. I'm happy. Then quoted their message, happy to meet and discuss any of the above points in greater detail. Yet they've failed to engage and everything's been fallen on deaf ears. Hope to see the team actively participating in this crucial conversation. 31st of October, 5:30 or 5:28. I'll be in there in VoIP Wednesday, 1 p.m. Oh, sorry, Wednesday, November 10 a.m. And then the following days when I sent while these discussions continue, why would I send while these discussions continue if I was against it all? So there you go. 10 days of being completely ignored in regards to a very simple request of just engaging. Oh, if you don't care, then why the fuck are you here, mate? I'm trying to give you.
We do care, but
we do
so
care.
far, everything we've been hearing from you and from the dev team themselves has been completely at odds with each other. And quite honestly, this is just the organization itself. The other questions that we have is about the financials of how everything's been going. From our understanding, is the original backers, the pre-Kickstarter backers, were told to PayPal you directly and the friends of family way to to cover the pre-Kickstarter access and be a backer in that sense.
Oh no.
The follow-up I have to that is
Can I answer that before you go on?
Okay.
Yeah, so that was done for one sole reason of being able to refund the purchase of the Kickstarter, because PayPal can actually turn around and say that this product is not what it's promised to be, and you can refund it.
So you pretty much block people from getting their money back from you, right?
No.
Well, it's the same as
literally saying the opposite.
Yeah,
did
he's
the
saying
exact
the opposite.
opposite, man.
So the follow-up question that I had to that is, from a backer standpoint myself, what financial protections have you put in place for ourselves in that you have set up a separate business banking account or anything along those lines to intake the Kickstarter money to essentially avoid a snatch and grab where you run off with the money?
So the business account is set up to take in the PayPal. Oh, sorry, the Kickstarter account is set up to take in the Kickstarter funds. The Kickstarter funds and the bank account access has been laid out so that I've mentioned it in the other call. There's a thing called Combiz, and it's a company access thing that I can grant certain people permissions without them being based in Australia, so they can have transparency access to what is coming in and going out without the ability to actually transfer funds for the company transparency. So there is that one, and there is also the transparency side from the Steam page in regards to sales of copies being sold. So you can kind of see the amount of units, the amount of money that it is generating in terms of net and growth. So these were all set up. The Combiz account is only granted access via permissions. So I set up you a user account. So John turns around and goes, oh, I want access, blah, blah, blah. I set up John. He gets an email. He comes in, and now he has access to those details, but no ability to transfer the funds. So he has transparency in regards to what is happening with it and where it's going. And that's all that John needs to do. That was the original discussion in regards to transparency. And the process takes up to 6 weeks.
This truck and move.
So the company transparency in regards to funding, company transparency in regards to funding and all that kind of stuff has been discussed, and it has already been established. It just hasn't been set up in terms of setting the permissions and everything, because over the past 10 days, I haven't heard a single word.
Okay. But as so the follow-up that I'll have to that then, since you haven't heard a single word from the devs, is if you are going to truly be the lead on this project and taking the reins of this project, what are you planning on doing at this point to talk to your original dev team to try and figure out some semblance of a common ground that you guys can come to, whether that is you still in the position or whether or not their demands, that you step down? I don't know what those details are. At this point, I'm not looking at what those details are. What steps are you going to take to reach out to your dev team who are currently on strike in order to break the strike and come to amicable terms to bring them back on the project?
What am I going to do? What am I going to do? I've already done what I can. I've already left the discussions open for them to come to me. I've left the door open for them to continue the discussions with me, and they have chosen to not do so until they decide to come to me and engage in these conversations. I'm not going to be chasing them.
But
are you going to pay them for the work they've done so far?
What was that?
Are you going to pay them for the work they've done so far?
Well, at the moment, they're going against their contracts.
But it also shows, for me, in my opinion, on one side that the Kickstarter shit show that happened like 14 days ago is related to this in one way or another. And it, like, also in the AMA, it really showed that you do not fully take accountability of this whole fiasco. You say, like, yeah, you have done everything, yet everything that you're saying is very contradicting to what 19 other people have combinedly said. And it is a bit of 19 versus 1. So how do you want to get yourself out of this? Because, it really feels like the whole time that you're saying, yeah, I've done everything, but it's still them. There's no clear fundament of your position.
If I am to chase up in regards to it, okay, so these guys these guys are asking for certain things, certain demands to be met, and all this kind of stuff. They're the ones who's going to be paying for the. They're the ones who want to initiate the idea of a board of directors. They don't know who. They don't know how many. And if they do, I don't know that information because it hasn't been shared with me. I have
just said in the discussion, I think we said that that would be established at a later time. We just wanted you to agree to the term of stepping down first, which you never agreed to.
Can't go agreeing to something that I don't know all the information about.
I mean,
So
as much as wondering, sorry, may I?
Yeah, go for it. Sorry.
So I get where you're coming from. I fucking heard that dev all the way down at the bottom. Who was it? Oh, the sculptor. Look, I 100% get where you're coming from. Okay, but I am just gonna paraphrase here. I run a community with 6,000 guys. Yep. They wanted me to step down as the majority owner for said community. I at first said no, because who the fuck are you going to replace me with? Because I need to know that the project that I worked on is held in good standing. Which is as insane as this sounds, I will give it a chance because, hey, fair enough. Like, you want to know where something goes before you agree to anything, which is fair. If you can have a agreement where it goes, okay, so you will step down the moment we present you with a suitable alternative, which we as both parties can agree towards, then you would have a basis for him to agree towards. If you just say it willy-nilly, there's not a chance in hell anyone's going to agree to it.
And to add on to that, you could certainly have in contract protections that would bar them from voting you off of a board of directors or to give you protection to stay
like
on.
golden share and all that kind of stuff. I understand all this, but I'm not still going to agree. I'm still not going to agree on something of which I don't understand the full terms of who or what they want. They're going to be essentially like, this is not all like mine, but I did set up the company. I did, like, it is my founding idea of the project and all this kind of stuff. But without the guys, I wouldn't have anything. I'm not fucking naive or anything in regards to all this. But if they are going to come on board and represent not only the project, but the company itself, of which I founded, and whether it's good or bad, have gotten it to the point where we can take a product to Kickstarter, I want to make sure that they all align to the vision of where it needs to go and what it needs to do. And I'm not just going to be like, I'm not going to turn around and be like, oh, we want you to agree to step down and bring on a board of directors. I'm not going to be like, yeah, okay. And then find out that they're going to bring on some random guy who knows nothing about games.
I 100% agree with you. There certainly needs to be protections in place, but there also has to be a willingness from you as well as the devs to come to the middle and talk about this. And it sounds like you're just kind of sitting there on your side of the table saying, yeah, I'm really waiting for you guys to come to the table and talk, but it doesn't sound like you're approaching this from an open enough standpoint that they feel like you're willing to talk and negotiate about your position of not willing to step down. So if you're willing to say to them, yes, we can talk about that. I'm willing to step down under certain conditions. Let's come back to the table and discuss this. I mean, you've got 14 days left in your Kickstarter. You could still
That
turn
is essentially
this around.
what my statement is. While the discussions continue, I urge you to demonstrate a strong sign of faith in the project and just publicly demonstrate your faith in the project. That itself.
If I could say something just as a customer, it is pretty shady from my perspective to put into something with this happening in the background. It would have definitely influenced my decision to back a game if I knew that the dev team was on strike. I don't really have a question there. I just wanted to provide a little feedback. You said that.
Yeah, but to say something to that, I think someone's like hot micing.
Yeah, that's Soul Sniper. Yeah, that's could you do us a favor, my guy?
Yo, Chance, can I ask you a question when you're finished?
Yeah, I've literally got like 5 minutes. So thing that I was going to say is it a little bit deceptive or anything in regards to that kind of information being withheld from the community? Yes, but at the same time, no, because the project itself isn't the developers. People come and go at the end of the day, and the wheel just keeps on turning. As cliche as it is, it just so happens that it seems to be a lot of the people on the ship or on the wheel. But either way, it will still continue to keep. Well, it could be most, it could be all. Either way, at the end of the day, it's
I want to make sure you understand
people
what
still
you
get
just
replaced.
said. The entire dev team that have been working on this for 4 years, that are the passion behind this project, you are saying people come and go and can easily be replaced. You're saying that the entire project and the passion that was driving it can be
It's fake
replaced.
news.
If they want to have these discussions, I've left the door open for the last 10 days for them to approach me with this information.
If you've left the door open, why did you delete the main discussions chat that we were using to discuss?
I didn't. I hit it.
Well, you hit
I
it.
hit it.
But we can't.
I
We
hit it.
can't. We can't.
Oh yeah, I know.
We can't respond. So it doesn't sound very
You've asked
open
me a
to me.
question. You've asked me a question. I'm trying to answer it. I hid that just before the call went live because I was suggested to take the screenshots, but I'm on my laptop and I can't really screenshot that stuff at the moment. So I've hidden it at the moment. And plus there's also multiple channels that you can reach out onto me. You can set up a fucking DM. You can use all the other channels. Literally for the past, what is it? 2.5 hours. No. Just give me a second. For the last 2.5 hours, you've not had access to that one channel where the communication was had. But for the past 10 days, you've had access to it. So do not go telling me that you're open to communication right this minute to have that discussion when you've had 10 days.
I'm
saying
access to that.
No, I'm not.
communication.
I'm denying you access of being able to delete information and retract certain parts because of certain information that has been said and shared to me whilst these discussions were had when I was in the other channel. So I'm glad I'm kind of covering my ass. And until I screenshot those, that channel will remain hidden for the next hour or so.
Counterpoint to that, Chance,
screenshotted
is
that stuff anyway, so I wouldn't worry about it.
Okay, well then we both have it, and then same with the recording.
the counterpoint that I would say to you, Chance, is why should they try to come back to you since you have obviously to this point said that you're not willing to step down? I mean, that's one of their major points that they're trying to talk about, whether you step down as the main leader of the project, and creative board of directors. If you're not willing to acquiesce to that or change your position on that, what point is there to try to reach out to you if you're not even willing to reach them on that?
That's what the discussions are for. The discussions left open in regards for them to come to me.
But you cannot have
With
an
who
discussion
and how many,
if you already refused.
and until that information has been shared with me, there's no need for further discussion. Like one of the other guys said, who runs a community of like 6,000 people, you want to know that the people that you're bringing on in regards to taking part of the company are actually going to align.
Gameplay is it?
So just to reemphasize,
There was someone who wanted to ask me a question before I went.
It was me. I just want to stick to the part you said you were worried about them kicking you out. Why would you worry about them kicking you out? What did you do wrong earlier to make people not like you and want to kick you out?
Oh, no, it's just a general sentiment in regards to something that you have created. You don't want to feel like with a board of directors, you can be removed, you can be voted out. You can set up a thing called golden share or like majority vote where either way, I kind of cover my ass with it. I still just want to know.
Everybody could feel this way.
There was questions in regards to that, and there was also questions in regards to, okay, do you want to come on as a board of directors without a percentage, or is it just to be able to have a say in the direction of the project, like the company itself? And there was mentioning of there's not in it for any of the financial side. It was just to have oversight in regards to the company direction and that kind of stuff, which is why I ended up turning around and saying, okay, well, how many people? Who are they? It's why I tried to engage in that, and they didn't have the answer, and they said that they'll come back and tell me later. 10 days.
Can I take from this, Chance?
You got 2 more questions, and then that's it. I've got to go. I'm sorry. So.
Hudson, go ahead.
No. Someone else beat me to it. They have fair game. They were first.
It's fine. You can go. You can go.
So let me get this straight, Chance. What you're saying is that you are indeed willing to step down under the one condition that you have a say in the debate as to who is then brought on, why they're being brought on, what their vision is going forward from here, and that's where the discussion could then take place.
My conditions are, I want to know who they are, how many it is, because this is all a discussion, so I don't have to agree. They could say 7, I could say 4. Like, it's a discussion. It's not just like a demand. We want this or nothing. So I want to know what the number is and who it is. That's what I
Okay,
want to
so-
start with. I'm not looking to step down as a board member. I'm still going to remain on the board. I'm just not going to be a sole director. There's going to be multiple directors. And
So
I want
you
to know
wanna
who it
be-
is that I'm going to be working alongside of and how many of you.
Would you step
And
down
until I get
for
that
it to
information.
be just like those of us that are already developers?
Wait, can you say that again, sorry?
Would you be on a board with those of us that are already developers?
Yeah, which is the guys that the discussion would have been having with.
Yeah. So just wanted to clarify that you weren't expecting us to bring someone from outside because that wasn't necessarily the discussion.
No, I don't think it was going to be someone outside of the company or outside of the project itself. The only person that would be brought on outside of the project to essentially take up a position that's been mentioned is the project lead. And that person would be coming on from an outside perspective who has not worked on our project internally.
All right. Well, I understand that you have to go here, Chance, pretty soon. I will say this. I will not be backing this project until you have come to an agreement with the developers that were currently on the project as to what the leadership structure is going to be moving forward, what the goals of the project are, what your safety position is in terms of keeping you on the project, even with all of this has happened. I think it would be a poor faith argument to have you kicked from the project, so what protections we can get for you. But I want to see some organization between you and the devs and both of you guys coming to the table and hashing out a decision between you as to organizing yourselves in an actual functional corporate way so that you guys can move forward and avoid this whole problem in the future.
I'm going to ask something, which is going to be my last thing, but you can think about
cooperation
it.
regarding the board seats.
Everyone.
You, not you, but like, pretty much, like, there is nothing stopping me. I could be very deceitful. It's like, be realistic about it. Like, I could turn around and be like, yeah, I'm going to have these discussions, all this kind of stuff, and then just like fall through and not actually do it. I could end up having these discussions and they still don't come to fruition. I've left the door or the channel or whatever you want to call it open for the past 10 days and I haven't heard a single thing. Now, ready? This is the weird, tricky question. Instead of coming to me over the past 10 days, they chose to do this. Now,
Can
at
you
what
just
point?
clarify something quickly? Someone asked before if the devs would be paid for their previous work, and you said they were in breach of contract.
He said no already.
Is that implying that they will not be paid for that work?
He said no already.
Well,
yeah, let Chance talk.
Yeah. So, in regards to what I was trying to say before, after their actions of which they've done by taking this publicly and essentially shooting themselves in their own foot in regards to the funding that we will end up being able to generate, it's gone. The last I looked was like 25 grand. So I bring on this board of directors and we're already 25 grand down. I could essentially turn around and be like, hey, well, we lost a bunch of profits due to your poor actions in regards to not communicating the thing to me, which you seem more active in regards to having a conversation now that there's an audience than privately when I asked you, hey, if we're to continue these discussions, just meet me with a good sign of faith. I said you don't have to work on the project, but just interact with the community and attend some play tests. And even that was too hard to be having. Yet I need to be forced into a position where I have to chase and that kind of stuff. Everyone's their own person. If they want to choose to not engage in conversation and then chuck this kind of PR stunt so they can gain attention to get what they want, like, is that really someone that I kind of want to have on a board at that stage? Like,
considering that they are the people you've been working with, I mean,
your
If it's
door,
your
like,
entire
door-
team, it might be you.
Contract around all of
Wait,
this.
Chance.
If you were a
Chance,
competent
just-
leader,
just-
then there'd be no reason for them to leave
it was
you.
I think there was a
It was-
confusion. Were you paying them up till now?
This is a
No,
witch
they pay
hunt.
no upfront payments. No.
Okay.
Okay.
So for the work
3
that they were
years?
functional, for the work that they were functionally able to
transparent.
complete, are they getting paid for any work or function that they had in the company until the point at which they began to obviously, in your point of view, be faulty employees?
No one's received any income and no one will continue to receive any income until we actually have some
And you're
financial
claiming
backing.
they're in breach of contract, so they will never receive a payment. That is what you were saying.
If they continue such actions, they're essentially going to breach their own contract. It's
Yes,
why I have
so they
asked
have
them.
no negotiating
Bro, you
position
need
because of
legal
your
counsel.
They do have
contracts.
a
So
negotiation period.
well,
They do
clearly,
have
if they're in
the
breach of
draft
their
contract.
contract and they cannot receive a payment because of that, they don't really have much fucking room to maneuver in a
I
negotiation
stayed
with
here
you.
for like 10 minutes extra. I'm saying to you right now, very fucking clearly, that they do have the negotiation room because I've said to them very clearly, if they want to continue these discussions, come have them with me.
And we're telling you very
that is part of
clearly
a
that you are
contract.
not operating in a position of good faith to actually meet these people halfway and actually solve this problem.
Said something in the
You have to be willing to compromise. Fabio.
Yeah, compromise, which is
throughout
where
all of
the
this, I'm
compromise
telling you.
is essentially them not doing any development while they show a good sign of faith in the project and just interact. I'm saying, hey, just interact with
Perhaps they
Discord.
did not
understand
want
what a
to
strike is,
blindly support a
Showing
Kickstarter
a
that they and
Guys,
Showing
9
deceive the
people
community.
talking at once isn't helping anybody. One at a time, please.
Order, please.
Okay, so am I meant to be giving people ready? I turn around, but okay, yeah. They turn around and they say to me, we want 4 people. I'm like, yeah, I can agree to that. And they're like, well, we want these people. I'm like, no, I'll agree to 3 of them. I want this person instead. So we ended up coming into an agreement. At what point does work operate again? At what point does the interaction with inside the community operate? Does it turn around and be like, oh, until any of this is in writing or until like we actually have something legitimate, we're not going to be doing anything. So my sign of faith is, hey, interact with the community, and while we continue these discussions, you're not working, you're just talking to people and playing a game that you've made.
To prevent the
This is
community
what
from learning that there
Chance,
is some
this
type
is
of
what a
problem
strike
going on in the
is.
background.
This is what a
That is what
strike
you're
is.
saying.
Could you elaborate on why some developers were like
One at a
open to
time.
the action of the strike?
One at a time.
A strike. Like I said, a strike. You can turn around and all the trains stop. And
Why you
all
keep
the trains
people
stop.
on strike?
All the trains stop, and you turn around and say, hey, whilst we continue these discussions, need you to be able to run a small amount of trains to show that it's worth engaging in these conversations, to show that you actually have the faith behind the project. If you cannot give me the bare minimum of just engaging in this community interaction,
The
you
exact
want me to
same
step
can
in?
be said for you to agree to the same can be said, the exact same to you, that you should be willing to come to the table and be willing to accept stepping down as the head leader of this project.
Which
And
is
it
what the
sounds like you
discussions
have
have
not
been open to.
Yeah, and it sounds like you have not clarified to them that you are willing to step down as the head lead on this project, and so they have not felt that you're meeting them halfway. If you want them to participate and communicate with the group and do play testing and all of that, you have to be willing to meet them halfway in that regards and say, yes, I am willing to accept stepping down as leader of the project so we can discuss and talk about this and get this straight.
The halfway
right now, you haven't
begins
done that.
with them reaching out to me.
And
There is no conversation. There is no discussions that need to be had. There's no discussions that need to be had about anything else. I'm saying very clearly.
You're deflecting.
Everyone,
I just answered your question.
They've reached out to you. They've sent you a letter.
It's essentially a strong arming tactic to force them to stake their reputation as developers on the success of the game so that they are stuck in a poor negotiating position with you.
Yep.
No, it is. Look, I'm going to break it down real simple for you, and then I'm going to go.
You have all the power.
There's nothing stopping you grabbing the Kickstarter money and running away, bro.
Let the man speak. Fuck's sake.
I've literally been here for 23 minutes longer than I should have been. So I'm going to say it very clearly.
Thank you so much, bro. Thank you for that.
Okay. Did they reach out to me? Yes. Did I take their things seriously? Yes. Did I try and engage in conversation? Yes. I even gave them the ability to come to me with a time and place, and they did so. I had the discussions with them. I asked 3 clear questions that I needed to have answered. They were only able to answer 2 of them. I said, okay. The following day, I ended up sending a message saying, if we're to continue these discussions, you can stand down, not do any work, but I just need you guys to continue to just interact with the community. It's not doing work or anything like that. It's not being strong-armed or anything. It is essentially showing that if I find...
Did you remove devs from the team for striking?
I removed people for not delivering upon the deliverables that were required for Kickstarter.
If they strike. So do you remove devs from the team for just striking?
No, they can. That's why I've said in the message that they can continue their stand down. But if people were meant to be delivering things that they have withheld from me at the detriment of the project, they're essentially.
But that's what striking is, right? If you strike, you stop working.
Yeah, well, like I've already said, that at this point now, if they came back on board or I gave them exactly what they wanted, there is no, like, we've essentially gone down 25 grand and probably some more. So
probably
it is.
At some point, you, as the leader of this project, at some point you're going to have to start taking ownership and responsibility for the state of the project.
Well, we just took ownership. We just kicked 19 devs out.
No, it's okay.
Can I just
There's nothing stopping Chance, if we said it straight, from taking all the Kickstarter money and fucking off.
That's actually there is
No,
still
I'm not
14
saying
days. The campaign cannot be finished
That's what I'm saying.
pre-time, so you're
But
fine.
but
At
it
the end-
reached the goal already.
$3,000 disappear from the Kickstarter.
Brother, hold on.
No,
So
so
at the
like
end,
someone
at the
said,
end
like
of
the
the
tax stuff.
14 days, is there anything stopping you besides morals and stuff? Anything legal stopping you from taking all the money?
Bro, you can't just take the
you,
devs.
like,
That's not how it works.
It has to be shown that it's
Blame the
actually
devs.
going to the proper purposes. It's a company account and it needs to be all accounted for in regards to like tax purposes, all this kind of stuff. So everything needs to be legitimate with all that kind of stuff. So if I wanted to take money and run, I wouldn't even be interacting with this. I'd just be sitting back, just waiting for it to fucking tick over.
Why would you
and
not?
then grabbing it and
You have
disappearing.
14 days to lock in the money. You have nothing now.
You just pay him.
Why?
It sounds like you're
why-
taking the work and running. As a matter of principle, you should pay the devs for the work they're going to do and have done for your project if you're going to use it in your final
The
project.
problem is with what money? Like, you're like, oh, pay the devs, pay the devs, pay the devs. He has maybe, by the end of this whole affair, he has maybe what, $3,000 of PKR plus maybe 50 to 60,000 after this whole thing.
Oh my
That's
God.
not enough to pay.
Bro,
19
what do you
devs.
mean that's not enough to pay?
Dude, you
For
just
another,
stop
for another how
wiping
long?
his
For another
fucking ass.
people have been saying how long? What, a
Yeah,
year?
people should work for free, please.
Contract?
Great point. Thank you.
If he wants to finish the game, then he's got to bring on other people because the way it is working isn't working.
Yeah, and if the guys who are currently on the project, I'm going to say it, and then I'm going to go. So if you have any other questions, you can leave them in the Discord. If they still want to continue having the negotiations, telling me the names of the people, all this kind of stuff, fucking, you're more than welcome to. I fucking very much welcome it. It sucks that you've had to go to this length to try and have this conversation, even though I fucking said that I'm more than welcome to have it. Which is why I want to continue having the discussion.
complex again.
Guys,
Oh no, there's no
let the
victim.
man
I'm literally
finish.
saying
All right, let the man finish his statement.
you've had 10 days to reach out to me. Over 10 days, I haven't heard a single number or a single name. And it's only today that they try and draw attention to it. If they wanted to have the discussion with me, if they wanted to properly have that discussion with me, mentioning names or numbers or the things that they said to me, and Sculpt said in this call that they would need to have further discussion in regards to who they are, it's been 10 days. You do not try and instigate a suggestion of changes in board leadership without having an idea of who or the structure itself. So if they came to me without having that information, sorry?
All right, I have a question.
Why do they all not like you?
Who's the creative
It sounds like the dev wants to push him out.
I'm not in this to make friends. I'm in this as a business, and I'm running it as a business. If I
like a business,
You
it's
have
not
Donald
structured
Trump like a
business.
business.
True, I mean,
my
Wow.
wow.
You were running
Business
it like
for
a
everyone has
business, then you
0
wouldn't
pay
be
contracts.
not paying
You
your
guys are just
devs
haters.
and giving them trash contracts.
Are you saying that you have no passion for this project and are doing it strictly for money?
Where does
To be fair, looking at
These dudes are
looking at the devs' requests, this is kind of a hostile
broke their
takeover in many
contract.
ways
Yeah,
by
that's
the
probably
devs.
the worst thing to say.
if
This is
if
not a
they
good
wanted to have these,
situation.
if they wanted to have these
Gents,
discussions with me, they could have brought them to me earlier. Instead, they waited till the last minute just before
So
Kickstarter.
Yeah,
But either
From
way,
what they
I've
told
engaged.
us, they did.
Either way, I've they brought it to me 5 hours before the Kickstarter. Now I'm only going to say it one more time because I've somehow sat here again for a lot longer.
Like, if
If they want to have the discussions, they still can. But until then, don't go crying over spilt milk or anything when you're the one who knocked it over. Come to me.
That's the wrong answer. That's the wrong answer. We approached
No, he's right. These are
He's backing the game anymore. Holy shit.
That is 4 fucking years of skill
Chance, I
building.
really like how you don't let anybody
That's the
punch you
wrong
around,
fucking
bro.
answer. I'm sorry.
You can come to me. You can come
That's
to
how
me
you
if you
run
want
a
to have those
business.
discussions.
Yeah, you're not willing to approach the discussion if you think this is all over spilt milk. Come
Wandering
on.
Mages don't let them push you around, Chance.
If
10 days ago,
Keep your
10
victim
days
mindset
ago,
forever.
A wandering mage is a stern shit.
10 days ago, you were given an opportunity, and it didn't have to be instant, but it's taken 10 days. And instead of coming to me and with the number or the name of the people, it's gone public in an attempt to try and let's say,
you did
strong
launch
arm
the
or something.
Kickstarter, right?
God,
Yeah,
So technically, you brought it public.
I
You
launched
brought
the
it
Kickstarter.
public, bro.
Yeah, but the Kickstarter also went against their wishes. So why?
If you started the
Guys,
Kickstarter,
come on, what the hell?
Look,
One
at the
at a
end of
time,
the
let's
day,
keep it
at the
civil.
end of the day, do they have the ability to approach me over the past 10 days with the information that I requested in regards to who and how many? Have they over the
There's
past
got
10
to be a
days?
reason that they haven't done it.
Well,
That's not up for me to answer.
If that's even
not up for
true,
me to
if
answer.
that's even true.
They don't get paid.
May I? For
Relax.
instance, like
So
there's, yeah, for
One
me it's
question.
very
One
simple.
question.
Like with the Kickstarter, it's like you already pushed out the Kickstarter, but the devs didn't want that, and now you're expecting the devs to do something. Suddenly, while you already did something against their wishes, doesn't really show that you were willing to do taking any accountability for whatever.
We already knew that we were going to go live. It's why we ended up
For
capping
sure,
the
it
development
shows
off.
that the developer didn't want that. So there is or massive miscommunication, or you're refusing to read certain aspects from pretty much 19 people.
The development had paused because the changeover to 5.3 was going to start beginning because we had enough of the content to go to Kickstarter. So the Kickstarter ended up going live. With or without these discussions, they were going to be had. And these discussions could have been continued over the past 10 days and probably could have even been worked out or even fucking finalized for all I know. So I'm not saying that anyone is at fault. Like maybe I could have handled it a bit better. I could have been like, hey, dudes, it's been fucking 5 days. It's been 7 days. But instead, I sat there and waited for them to come to me in regards to the matters that they wanted to address. And I haven't heard anything.
Chance, your project is dead. This is the biggest understatement of the year. Your project is dead.
I appreciate your take on all this. I appreciate you talking with us on all this. I would hate to keep you from whatever else you have to get going to. So if you wanted to bow out here, this would be your opportunity. Otherwise, you're just going to get caught up in more talk and everything else like that. So
yeah, thanks for giving us your time, man.
Thank you for talking with us.
You being here, guys.
you didn't have to.
Oh, yeah.
You did.
You have our
Thank you. We appreciate you for that.
We have your
Very least.
support.
Like I said, it's at the end of the day, whether people have fallen out of faith with the project or maybe still have some, like, thank you. Either way, at the end of the day, the project will end up still going ahead, whether the funding goes through or not, or whether it's with the current team or not.
We'll see. Thanks for your time, Chance.
Have a good one, man.
Have a good day, man.
We still back you, man. We support you.
Who's we, bro? The
project. The project.
Listen, don't take the back
Bro,
and
the
doing
devs
it
are-
in the
Yeah, I
public
give a
channel.
lot of
Who the
respect
fuck
to Chance
fucking
for
voice?
that.
I think a lot of you guys are getting gaslit into believing a power grab. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, the devs,
I'm
bro.
not backing this shit, chat.
Wait, who said that?
Yo, the dick
Yeah, no,
riding's
I'll
crazy.
say it again. I think a lot of you
Yeah.
guys are getting gaslit into believing
You
one
guys are
side
sheep.
story over the other.
You guys are cheap.
Jago, you were 10, bro.
Guys,
Your eyes.
Okay,
Hold on.
Let's stop the fucking infighting. Let's.
We need to get the emergency services in
from
here to
the
clean up this
very
gas leak. We've
get-go.
got an extremely dangerous gas leak situation in this
Yep,
chat.
got an extreme gas leak going on, boys.
From the very get-go,
Yeah,
I
you
have
read
always
that.
maintained the stance of what if you decide to back this project or not, that is entirely your decision. There is still a project here
Maintain
that
my
can
nuts
be
in your
backed.
Listen, every
Backing it-
off-topic question, his voice got shaky. He tried to deflect it, dodge it, whatever. It was very.
Yeah.
How many people are in here? Look how many people are in here.
It is
Man.
very telling. It's very telling when 19 people who worked on the game for years all have the same.
More than 19.
Listen.
Why did you let him leave?
Guys.
I hate black people. At a time, folks. It's
Why
not
did you
that
give him out
hard.
to leave?
One at a time. Everyone.
Listen, do you think it is the 19 people's fault, or maybe one person that refuses, one person that refuses to listen and conform and compromise with this team is, apart from this being, so stuck in his ways that he won't listen.
Yeah, I know. I get it.
Two things. Reaching out to like a compromise.
Two quick
all it
things. One
takes
of
is
you
just
needs to
compromise.
take your mic away from your face because you're.
Wait,
take out the retainer.
Two
quick
Can you
things.
make more ASMR videos, bro?
All right.
Two quick statements, please. I think it takes a leader in order to manage his men.
Let him talk.
And I don't think that's the kind of leadership that we've seen. And
you're
one
right.
more aspect is it amazes me that in this situation there's other
Not on my face.
important things to tend to other than this.
He's got to take his screenshots, man.
So from
He
this
can't do that with
from
all the
this
chat
point in
going on.
time, we do have. If Sculptor, if you do not want to talk, that is entirely up to you. But as a dev on this project, or as someone who has been working on this project, I don't know if you're still with it or not. Would you like to talk and share your position on this particular subject?
Also,
They did like
did
2
anyone,
hours ago.
Here's a question: did anyone record that at all? Because that would be helpful.
Yeah, I got all of it. I'm certain that
Awesome.
many people have been recording. I know that there was a stream happening since the AMA began at one point.
All I want to know is, I'm trying to make Chance my little femboy. I'm trying to figure out how that happens.
Oh, that's easy, baby. He needs money.
I want Chance to take my asshole.
Just to have this.
Parties being able to.
He needs money for that diamond grill.
Okay,
That Chance can appoint one, and then the dev parties can appoint 2.
Are you in a bedroom?
Yeah, you're
Needs that new role.
You're amazing, my friend.
Are you in the toilet taking a shit?
Yeah, I'm taking a bath.
Needs money for the
Actually.
Cartier watch.
Oh shit! Wait, he's taking a bathroom. That is. I can't.
My iPhone speaker. If only I could stream my camera, you could see me shirtless and eating my pork chop.
Anyways,
Sexual innuendo.
He needs money for that new
You guys
Bugatti.
think Chance is boning Swift?
I'm trying to find my headphones, but
So
I'm boning Chance.
Come on, man.
How about we don't?
I think it's
That's
fucked up.
kind of
level
fucked up that you guys sort of are so against Chance. You're gonna take shots at a random female.
I was about to say, there's
a
no
little fucked
reason.
up.
No reason you should be bringing Swift in like that. That's despicable.
If that's
Don't-
the kind
don't
of
do
people
that.
who are backing the devs, yeah, I think the devs are a little shady then. I don't know what else to say.
Okay, that is the terrible-
No, hear me out.
Hear him out. Hear him out.
Are you
serious?
Just hear
Let
me
the
out.
man talk.
Just hear me out on this.
That's an absurd
You're all gay.
statement.
You're all gay.
That's
okay.
The boys aren't gay. The boys are not gay.
He's got a point.
It's funny coming from a guy of 69 in his name.
Them boys aren't gay, bro.
I think it's good to look at like the demands
Very gay.
I like minors!
for the devs, because I think a lot of this is really significant, and I can see why Chance isn't stepping down because of this. This would essentially be demoting him to an employee at his own company and giving him what was.
I appreciate everyone's conversation here. It was good to hear it all.
Back to what I was saying.
He
So it's
literally
essentially giving
was
him
good before. He can still sit as a director.
minority position on the board. Giving him a minority position on the board, making him a basic employee. These are things that you could look at as a power grab. These are things that, maybe there's a way to negotiate this, and maybe there's a way to see it through. But
Here's a question. Here's a question. Was it stated by those developers that they wanted him to have a minority position? Because as far as I recall, CEO is
They
still
offered him a position
a
on the
role.
board.
So if he's on the
which
board,
would be still the chief.
That is a power position.
So if he's on the board,
that means he
and
would
it's
still
a-
be in the position of power, but it would allow them some say. Is what I'm sounding like, unless I may be wrong. Maybe they did state they
I don't
wanted
think he
to
wants
have
him
a
to have any
minority
say.
position.
He
Which, if
pushed
that
out the
is true,
Kickstarter to
then
try and
yes, I
force
would
their
agree.
hand
They didn't release
into
the
following
information.
line.
Okay, I'm confused. What's happening? Okay.
No, shut up. Nobody needs that.
All right,
Go read
it's
a book.
called
you're
a
kind of like,
collaboration
go
agreement.
leave.
Certain
Chances-
parties can be guaranteed the right to assert or to appoint certain board members.
when he kept pushing back the likes in the Discord, I think that was pretty shady as well beforehand, right? So he has a track record of the shady shit.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
it's a huge track record. A lot of you people don't realize this guy broke an NDA with OWI, the devs for fucking Squad, got in the legal battle with them. As soon as I heard that about him, he said it himself. The dude's fucking shady as shit. Like,
if I would have known this beforehand, I would have never backed this
Somebody
project.
explain the whole
Listen,
squad thing. Immediate regret.
So Chance is the mod developer who led the
Going
Aussie
back to the
faction.
soundboard.
And
Yeah.
so basically, Chance created Lashkar Valley for Squad, created all these assets, and then I don't know the details for the NDA, but he broke an NDA. OWI fired him, and he sued OWI for it. And it's just, as soon as I heard about all this and just all the small details, you can realize it's just, I just feel like this project, just a lead for that, this project is amazing.
That's pretty bad.
But for a lead, that's something terrible. Having a lead do shit like this, like it's
That's
such
why
a
he lives
bad
with his
stain.
parents.
So
He was the one who made it go public.
That's ad hominem. That's not neither here nor there where he lives. Doesn't matter.
Hey man, what's wrong with living with your parents? Rent is fucking
doesn't-
expensive.
There's
Okay?
nothing
He
wrong
doesn't
with
live
that.
with his parents. He lives in my bed of my femboy.
That shouldn't even be brought into this discussion, is what I'm saying. It's
I'm
neither
very
here nor there.
curious.
No, you're right. You're right. I'm just saying.
But is he the one who made it go public with the funding, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, he's the one who launched the Kickstarter with
All right.
all of this happening.
Person that was behind, the Kickstarter being.
Well, first of all, he didn't have the Kickstarter, backing for the releasing the Kickstarter. So one way or another. But I'm more curious because I see Nano and Drewski in here. Like, what are you guys gonna do with this information? Because for sure, you guys have
Take over.
Don't call him
out.
I'm gonna buy the 7 remaining platoon pledges.
Oh, you gotta buy the book.
No, I actually want you to see that. I want you to right now. I want you to buy all 7 copies. Come on, let's go.
But Drewski also wanted to say something because
Take
I'm
that
very
money and buy a Ferrari that says Burning Lands on the hood.
No, I'm here to observe. I mean, I asked a question earlier, but I'm just here to observe. I know about as much as you guys do about this project, and I'm just
Oh my god, I love your videos.
You do realize you have a lot of influence in also this game because you are the extended reach. And are you gonna make other people that have pledged aware of at least of this in a video, or are you gonna just let this lay low and just keep it internal in?
I don't know what my place would be in
Oh my god, it's Drewski.
giving my opinion on
Well, you always have came.
Just
let
people speak. No, they're not interrupting too much. They're fine. Yeah,
I love you,
don't know.
Drewski.
I think there's obviously a very mixed bag of opinions here, and I don't think I'm educated enough to really give a good hey, this is what you should do on a video of mine, and say that I have a good structure base of knowledge to give you an opinion because I barely know anybody here. I'm just another one of you guys listening to this conversation. That's all.
You're not another
very fair response.
But you're operator Drewski, bro. You're the man.
Shut the
fuck up. That's more request.
Big Fry's tree rather than Operator Drewski.
I will.
Yeah, Big Fry's better.
You guys wanted to hear from the developer?
Big Fry's gonna be better at that stuff than I am.
I want to hear from a
At
dev.
least thanks for answering, bro. At least thanks for answering.
Whoopi's here.
I was about to say Whoopi. Yeah,
what do you guys?
We have a need.
What's going on, guys?
All right, we're looking for a dev's take on what all this is happening, what the devs have done, timetables of stuff, and that kind of stuff. A lot of people haven't heard the dev side of the story. They've only heard Chance's side of the story. So if you could shed some light for everyone as to what the devs have been doing, a general timeline, if you're able to give that as to when these conversations were started, whether it was 5 hours before the Kickstarter launch or well before that, I think shedding some light on that would be helpful.
I think the big question we'd like to know is why was there no communication from Ted Days?
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, so a lot to start this whole entire thing off with is none of the devs knew exactly when the Kickstarter was going to go live until the day that it happened, when we all received a message, hey, Kickstarter is going out today, hell or high water, which made us all kind of respond back to it and saying, well, hey, You didn't communicate that to us, and we're all very much unhappy with what's going on right now in the project internally. Now, we said that's fine. If you want to have the Kickstarter go live, that's plenty fine, but there needs to be a resolution before the end of it.
Right.
And we simply were bringing up things where there was just a lot of unprofessional things that were happening, and we wanted to bring the capacity of the whole entire project in the studio up to a professional level. And that's why we kept the strike silent at first, and we said, listen, we get it. The first response we got back from him was a lot of, yes, I agree with this, yes, I agree with this. And then there was a lot of things where, yes, I do agree with what you guys are saying, but that's not going to happen. And it was on some major key points of transparency and business relationship that we felt.
The
I don't
recording
even
us.
know how to. Yeah, it's entirely fine. People can record us all they want. It's the facts. We have
some kinky people.
Yeah, it is what it is. I totally lost my train of thought.
You were talking shit
we
about
have.
Take your time. Take your time.
Well, no, I wasn't
You were
trying to talk
talking. You were
any
talking
sort of
about his.
smack about it.
It was his
We're
initial
trying
response
to
to
say
the-
of like, yeah, the initial response, we were very unhappy with it. And, he invited us to an AMA, and we said, we're not going to talk to you until you actually, verbally agree of our points. So when he made 2 attempts to contact us, we just both times pointed back to the initial message and said, listen, you said, these are all reasonable points. Like, we're not trying to take ownership away from you. We're just trying to take the time to say, hey, there's no real successful companies out there that have one sole director in charge of everything. They have a board of directors to be successful when it comes to the video game world. So we said, in our eyes, if we want to be, among, Blizzard and Activision from like indie to AAA, that's the best way it could have gone.
Right.
That's kind of how we were wanting to handle everything. And then there's just a lot of professional things that were happening behind the scenes that shouldn't have just been happening, with people being, verbally abused, and, sexual imagery being posted. And then,
Nothing wrong with
a lot
that.
of
Nothing wrong with that.
explicit.
Completely
Let's
different.
clarify.
Yeah, I think a lot of people
Um,
miss that.
Unprofessional.
Sexual
Could you-
imagery by chance, or just hearsay?
Yeah, could you elaborate on that?
That's
Or
yeah.
would you like to keep
Well,
this to
there's explicit images that were being posted. It
Was
was.
there leather involved?
Let him talk. Let him talk.
Let the
I'm
man
not
speak,
gonna
son of
go
a bitch.
any in depth
Details
on
again?
Did Chance post
what
his femboy
any of
pics?
that. So
Okay, so
I'm not
it's
going to respond to anything like that, guys.
inappropriate
But
work environment,
Yeah,
basically.
just continue on, man.
Could I please
Anyways,
start? I'm here with an
yeah.
open mind. I don't like the picture that's been painted. I was keen to support this game until a couple of hours ago. Chance has, I don't know, said numerous times in the last couple of hours in 2 different forums that for 10 days you never reached out and responded in the appropriate channel to him. Why?
Yeah, so we reached out to him in the developer channels, and then we followed up. We eventually did get in a 2-hour phone call where we appointed just one developer on our side to talk with him, and I was the facilitator back and forth. We have it recorded. I will ask for his permission if we can publish that, because I think ultimately it's. Yes, everything needs to be ran as a business, and all the emotions should be set aside. So when that's being said, all developers, like, we're, all emotionally attached to the project, and we're also like really attached because of the fact of like, hey, like, who wouldn't want to have their name like attached to an amazing, project and have like an official game released under their belt? Like, that's just awesome for a resume point of view. For me personally, funds, it doesn't really matter a whole lot. Yes, it would help me pay off like my student loans and things like that. But other than that, I already work a full-time job, with 3D printers in a medical system, and it's beautiful and fantastic. And I love that. I would, to continue on from that though. Yeah.
And I don't disagree with you, but I don't understand the 10-day point.
Yeah, the 10-day pause was a little bit.
Why why haven't the devs reached out in those 10 days? Like he's saying, he
So-
agreed to 2 or 3 of your requests, which is great.
We were
And
waiting
he
for
said
stuff
he
from-
wants more info on the 3rd. So why haven't you come back with more info?
We were waiting for some financial transparency stuff that he agreed to give us as well. So I think maybe there was a bit of a miscommunication because nothing was put in that chat after the voice call about what we were waiting on. Or maybe that's our bad as well. But more to the point of that, like nothing. Well, sorry, we were waiting for him to give us something and he was waiting for something from us. So I think there was probably a communication breakdown at that point. We were getting annoyed at him. He was probably annoyed at us. So.
May I ask one
Oh, yeah.
question? I just want to ask one question. What kind of financials were you trying to get from him? About what?
The pre-Kickstarter funds, where they went, what it was being spent on.
Mm-hmm. So like proof was actually being spent properly
On development or towards
Gotcha.
the game.
Okay.
That's a very fair request, I think.
Which is
that's
understandable
incredibly fair.
because I mean,
That's
you know,
Dan.
it went to
That's
his
pretty much
personal
David.
PayPal.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I would like to say another thing just to kind of highlight over the 10-day that 10-day period that was mentioned many times. Another thing that kind of drove our hand to go public is that as mentioned earlier, there was a message sent out essentially saying you can continue your strike and have good faith in the project by interacting with the public and doing things of that nature, right? And so to most that would be interpreted as okay, we can continue not to do work. However, only a few days after, if I'm remembering things correctly, we began certain developers began receiving letters saying if they do not begin providing materials by X deadline, then they could face termination, which a few developers actually did. And that was another factor that kind of forced us, because if he ended up basically just removing developers, we didn't know the extent of which that would continue to happen. So we thought it would as well be necessary to get this out.
Yeah, so we didn't really feel like secure in our positions to continue striking without making it public.
Without making it public, yeah.
Did you guys air your grievances to Chance before the Kickstarter date thing happened? Like,
So,
did he know that you guys were
as he
unhappy?
said, 5 hours before, but we'd only been discussing it in a separate Discord thing for like 3 days or something before he announced he was going to go to Kickstarter. So we were already trying to get our message to him across. It only just happened that we had to do it before Kickstarter to try and stop this whole mess.
Yeah, just a little contradicting because he states that y'all were very much on board, hell or high water.
Right.
He was
So-
deflecting way heavily.
So
another thing.
He said he was going ahead.
The leads, the leads had numerous meetings trying to address this beforehand. I am not one of the leads, but Kuniko, Arknoid, and several other ones mentioned this to us and stated that, hey, this is what we have going on. We really need to work on this, and there was no real action being taken. And after a most recent incident that happened internally that I can't speak on, that's why the strike kind of really was pushed over.
Have you guys contacted? Have you guys contacted Fair Work Australia?
Kickstarter went to his own.
Hang on a second. Hang on a second. I need to ask you about the strike. I need to ask you about the strike real quick, because what things Chance have said can lead himself into some fucking legal trouble if you guys have approached this strike with the proper fucking protocol. Have you guys approached Fair Work Australia for the strike? Have you authorized a legal protected industrial action?
Protected industrial action is the term.
We did not, we did not go forth with that. We thought we could handle it within our own terms, and that was a shame on us because we know there's supposed to be a 3-day waiting period before a strike actually starts. We thought we could be reasonable with everything, and we should have gone down that route and had mitigation and arbitration to have somebody mediate between us and Chance. But being the fact that we have not been paid, the only reason I'm saying that is that is a stipulation with the Fair Acts. Is there has to be payment involved within it or terms, and half the team doesn't have anything in their contracts related to that, so it wouldn't be up for grabs within that. So that's another issue is half the team, because they don't actually have any payment terms, that half the team technically still owns their IP to the assets. And until other people have received payment, they still own their assets as well.
Is it true that the contracts were written by ChatGPT?
I don't know that for sure. That is entirely, you would have to ask Chance.
They don't seem entirely legal.
From the have you guys talked with the protections in Australia to at least initiate strike procedure for those who do have payment in your contracts to move forward, so you have some protections moving forward?
Yes, those that are in Australia have.
Okay.
Okay, that's good then.
Have you? I got a question. Have you had the contracts checked?
I have, yes. My contract was considered void. I am not going to do anything drastic because I have a lot of respect for Chance. So if he wants to make things right, he already knows that all of us, the half that has broken contracts, he can still fix it.
So, a question around the contracts, just in given Australian law, are you noted as an employee of the development company or a contractor?
Consultant.
Contractor, consultant.
Terminate people when they're on strike, yet he was doing that.
Was there a
Nope.
stated payment agreement?
You get
Is
nothing.
that
You have
is
no
that
right to-
for
You get
just
nothing
anyone
at all
outside
as a
of
contractor.
Australia?
Correct.
So anyone outside Australia is just a contractor, and anyone inside is an employee, or they all also just contractors?
All consultants, all
Look at the amount
Will
of
you guys
money
let
that
him
they're
get
looking
away
at
with
in
using
terms of
your assets that you've
releasing the
made without
project
actually
as,
getting paid
post
at all?
Kickstarter.
Nope, that will not fly.
Yeah, I don't really
And
want
was
to.
there any actual payment agreement? Like, was there any statement that you would be paid this amount for this amount of work?
Something
Nope.
like for me personally, it says.
So it's
3%
just the
revenue.
end of the
Break. Everyone, let them speak.
Yeah, so my contract says 3% of the revenue for up to 2 years of revenue from profits, whatever, for up to 2 years after the project is released. That's all it says. It doesn't specify
Does it say contingent to
what
being
releases,
employed at
and
the finish of the project?
it says a lot of shit about. Yeah, it's hard
That's
to.
so vague.
I'd say
So
I don't
vague.
know. It's vague. It's vague as
And
hell.
what I'm trying to ask and understand and hope maybe it might give you a hint is if you are terminated as part of this process over the next week or whatever it is, do you actually have any legal recourse to ask for any profit share if the game succeeds?
Not at this stage.
I think you probably need to go. Every one of you need to get some sort of legal advice on that matter. It's stated that you're advisors or contractors, which you have less rights now, and I don't know how that works with Fair Work in regards to industrial action either as a contractor.
Don't think you have the as
You
as
have
much
nothing.
as a strong
You
position.
can either accept the contract or you don't accept the contract.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I think right now, regarding the strike stuff, I think it's just like seek legal counsel and figure out whether or not that can even happen and what steps any of the employees can do, not only contractors.
Look, if I was in your shoes, I'd still be trying to make some sort of contact through the official channel at this point. I think the more time you leave it and actually don't reach out, you might put yourself in a worse position.
Yeah, definitely.
What
I have
needs
a
to
question
happen?
for the developers. I don't know if they're able to say this, but like with me, there's 40, 50, or 60. I don't know the number, obviously, but people who like did the pre-Kickstarter backing, and I feel like it was constantly evaded or just constantly ignored. Do you guys have any idea? Like, obviously, this happened like 2-3 months ago. Was there any internal communication that you're allowed to talk about? Like, where that money went? Did it go to the game, or did Chance buy some new shoes? Like, I mean, I'm just
They have no
genuinely
idea. That's why
curious.
they're asking.
Yeah, what happened to the $3,000?
It was
I have a
discussed
question.
lightly during the AMA session. The funds. It was said that it was spent primarily on marketing for the Kickstarter and Facebook. However, we have not been provided with any sort of invoice or actual proof of financial
Actual
transactions.
What about the PKS?
Well,
What
that's
happened to
what we're
that?
talking about right now.
That is the
Oh, okay,
PKS.
okay.
That is the one.
It is.
So what
I
needs
thought-
to happen? What needs to happen right now is I think there needs to be some kind of audit performed on Chance where he proves that he spent the money where he said he spent it and not for his own personal gain.
Well, to me, I
Sounds
get
like
money
fairy
from
tale.
a lot of different companies from all over the world, and sometimes I contract people. I couldn't
Mhm.
imagine getting thousands of dollars to my own personal account and then having to explain to people that like certain money is mine. Oh no, does that that was already on my PayPal account, and then that money wasn't mine. Like it just seems so confusing to have a personal PayPal account and get like business business money coming in,
Then
especially
that's
for
poorly
taxes reasons.
configured and set up. Then I mean that's
Yeah,
a
it's
poor,
that's
poor
on
business.
Chance.
Yeah, poor
Poor
business.
business practice.
I know what
Can
Chance
I
spent the
ask?
money
Can I?
on. Spent it on
Can I ask
Catboy
one of
dresses.
the PKS people when the payment was collected?
What's that?
When was it? When was it collected?
Like just the second I sent it, I
What
think.
date?
Oh, let me go. Let me open my PayPal.
Yeah, I'm just curious, like how long ago this was.
This
So-
was 2 months ago or so.
Question, just a quick question.
Oh.
So you're saying the pre-Kickstarter was sent directly to his personal PayPal,
Right,
which
but
is,
I feel like
which
if
is different
Chance,
than what than excuse me. What's
if there's
Go ahead.
someone in this channel who is like a chance, like an alternative chance, I just feel like the issue is I can't prove this because I don't have access to the announcement channel on this Discord the way that like a moderator might have. But this one message, which it stated exactly you're gonna send money to this PayPal address, which was his personal address,
That's
and then
not
if you look into and you're gonna use the friends and family option.
Shut
not
up,
the-
bitch.
Damn.
Thank you.
Okay, can
No,
you just calm down?
And not
just
the
continue.
Well,
not
we
the-
did ask him, and he did confirm that specifically the PayPal was his personal PayPal, and it was the friends and family option that he collected
Right.
money through.
And this happened on August 23rd. I sent him 102 Australian dollars and 10 cents.
Wow.
Okay, so friends and family option means it's a gift. Just
It
so you know.
means
That's a gift. Yeah.
PayPal does not help you with getting it back in case there's an issue.
Exactly, which
Yeah,
means
you
that if
can't
there's a
refund it.
you can't
You
refund
can't get it back. Yeah.
No,
Can't get it back.
No,
which is
if
really
it's sent
shady.
as
which is
friends
really-
and family, then you're fucked.
Which is
Yeah.
really
Period.
shady
Announcement.
that, which is really shady that he's making people send it that way because he knows that if shit goes sideways, that he could keep it. Like they can't just say,
I-
You might,
Maybe he's
if
just
just
stupid
as
and
a heads
doesn't know.
up, just as a heads up, if Swift does have access towards the audit log for the official Discord, she is able to find and track that message, as it will show up in the audit log as a removed message by Chancebra on XYZ date.
She
So
won't
if
show
that
that.
message
joined, like,
is
a week
removed
ago, so-
shortly, then there you go.
She
Was
won't.
Sculptor about to say something?
Yeah, I was just going to say that like a bunch of us didn't think it was a good idea to take money for the pre-Kickstarter stuff in the first place. So that's sort of like when it started becoming really uncomfortable was probably around that.
So you
pre-Kickstarter
guys
thing.
disagree
That should have
on that
been
as well?
voluntary. Like, hey, can you guys give us your time?
Yeah.
We'll call you at any time of the day, and you need to be available. Type stuff. Not, hey, give me 100 Australian US dollars or whatever. You know.
It was 65
Yeah,
US
they
dollars
take
or
this
100
fucking thing.
Australian.
Can
Seems
this
very
project
good.
move forward without Chance?
Oh, absolutely.
No.
It won't happen. 'cause he won't give it up.
Did
He's gonna go down with his ship now.
do the
Good.
striking devs know the other devs that he's bringing them on, or are they? Or you have like no idea about that?
He is
can
currently
see
outsourcing
that
from
that's
Quiet.
us, to be honest. Yeah, we haven't been talking about any of that.
That's one of the primary issues that we've had is just lack of general communication. The fact that he was mentioning bringing on external developers in the date, that was actually news to me, and I learned that for the first time during the AMA, just to highlight the lack of communication. So
You probably just made it up on the
What?
spot.
yeah.
What the hell?
Do you think he's gonna bring on devs to replace everybody?
If this project was
He'll
even
try.
to move forward, if you guys could overcome the hurdles you have got now, would you guys even be comfortable continue to work on this project since you probably going full time with Chance as at least a colleague?
I feel like there's a bunch of people that would be willing, but I still feel like there would still be certain people that would
Are you
leave.
coming back over? We just
I would not work on burning lands without an upfront payment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or a
Yeah.
legal contract where it's legally binded.
I don't even care about that. A lot of that stuff's not even enforced anymore. I'd want
Yeah.
upfront payment.
Yeah, but
In a
payment
professional
aside,
capacity,
like payment
I
fully
would work
aside
with
and
him.
legal stuff aside, you'd still have to work.
With
Like
Chance.
after
With
this
him.
entire awkward situation becoming public and all that, obviously it's gonna drag along for a long time, and you have to work with all the people that are still it, right?
Yeah, it's
right.
definitely a good point
It's a
to
shame
raise.
that this project's pretty much dead at this point. It seems
Which,
like.
well, it's just the reputation that's dead.
Hey,
right now.
Yeah, the reputation is
Yeah.
dead.
What
Yeah,
were you
but
about?
it's-
What were you just
They
about
pulled the
ready to say?
unity. Let's go.
Yeah, I basically was stating that if it was within a professional capacity to work alongside of Chance, not below him, but alongside of him, I think it would be entirely manageable. I think he has enough professionalism within himself to do that because this project is his child and the company is his child. If he would, um, meet
Sounds
to the
like we're
terms that
going
we
different
have, where it's
directions.
just it's I think a majority of the dev team they would if he did step alongside of us
Just
because
from
in
listening to him
yeah
earlier, he'll never do that.
Yeah,
He's got way
I
too
realize
much of
that.
a.
His
Yeah.
response an hour ago on the official Discord is pretty telling.
Yeah.
Sorry
He'll
for my
never step
voice.
down. He'll take this to the grave on a USB drive file.
Yeah.
Even if he does like cooperate with you guys on
No
the same
stress to
level,
get backwards and forwards.
most of this news and stuff is already out, so it's like it's not even got like a 30% chance of being as good as it would have been prior to this controversy.
Yeah,
So
the
it
passion
is
for the
already-
project is
Yeah,
gone.
the passion is gone
It's
now.
such a toxic environment to work
The
together.
money's
Like,
disappearing off of Kickstarter pretty quick.
The most important thing
Good.
about this Kickstarter pledging is that the goal is $49,000. Right now it's at $74,000. Let's say once it finishes in 14 days and it's still above 49,000, does he automatically just get spent $49,000?
People
No,
do get
he-
charged.
From the
There is
question that I asked
a
him earlier, he did say that he has a specific business account that is set up to receive the Kickstarter money, that there are
Yep.
other people who have confirming permissions to view said accounts so they can see all the transactions, where the money is going, that kind of stuff, but do not have permissions to withdraw or deposit money into the account.
It's still very concerning.
He can,
Yeah,
he can
absolutely.
he could just pay himself as like CEO and then just take that money.
Or call it like a bonus or something.
Is that a fact or an assumption?
So
That's
from
freedom.
my understanding is that
So it's an assumption.
we technically have a fully released product on Steam that would qualify for a completion on Kickstarter, where those funds would be deposited into his account and they would be there by December. Now, if he plays that role, that's entirely up to him. I don't think he will. I think he'll want to keep developing this because I think he can see the future of this game. Now, I don't know what he's thinking. That's what I'll say.
What are the odds we got baited?
I got no idea.
I honestly, they put so much work into all this. I don't know. I think this is just a cock up from.
I don't think.
I don't think that.
Yeah,
I don't think this was like a scam from the get go. I think this is just.
Oh,
kind of-
no.
No.
I mean, he
Being
wouldn't have
genuine since-
went 3 years.
Yeah.
For a scam.
It was a
but,
scam for the $3,000 from the PKS all this time.
Yeah, I
guys.
mean, just because it's not a scam.
Yeah, it's not a scam.
He got a
as
new
I had-
4090 out of it. You guys are laughing about it, but if that's a nice 4090, I can get one of those.
I did say from the beginning that I don't think anyone should attribute to malice
I've
that
got a
which can be
7900
adequately
XTX
explained
Red
by
Devil.
stupidity.
Exactly.
I think this is just a case of, yeah, shit has hit the fan. He's gone in a direction the devs aren't happy with, and now the dev team is on strike. I think he's trying to do the best he can with the situation he has, and he may not realize how big of a project it will be to try to launch this game with currently $74,000 worth of Kickstarter backing. I don't think the game would be able to make it, even with the extra dev team that they bring on into early access to where he could get more money from people buying the game. So I don't think this was a scam in the sense of he's trying to scam everyone out of the money. I think this is he's in over his head and trying to do the best that he can with what he has.
Yeah, unfortunately, unfortunately, I think it's a matter of incompetence. He just doesn't understand how to manage a project of this magnitude.
Agreed.
I think it's just it's personality too. Like he even from the interaction we had with him on this Discord does not seem like someone that you can approach and talk to and have issues with something that you can have an honest one-on-one discussion. He seems very standoffish, very deflective, won't admit responsibility or fuck ups. Like, oh, it's my fuck up.
Canvas.
It's just,
something like that.
and I'm sure the devs listening are probably agreeing in silence, which is fine. I mean, but it's just, if I'm going to spend my money and invest my time, because I have a Hell Let Loose community that's pretty successful in my eyes.
Dying.
And we were, hold on. Glows is not dying, or you're saying Hell Let Loose is dying?
Hell Let Loose.
Hell Loose
Okay.
is fucking pin cunt.
So Burning Lands was something that we were looking at as like a new avenue to go towards.
ESPT as well.
But after seeing all this go down in the way that he's responding to people and just deflecting and not giving straight answers and putting the blame on other people, not saying, hey, I could have done better here. Hey, I could have gone the extra mile and ensured that this was going to be resolved without all this drama. It seems like he was so proud and cocky and full of himself that he would allow this to happen before he would admit that he was wrong.
He's never gonna admit he's wrong.
I mean,
No.
honestly, what I would like to see from the developers at the very least, as well as I'd like to see it from Chance, is a little bit of transparency as to the discussions of how they're planning on working this out. I'm not saying either side, I'm not blaming the developers. I'm kind of not blaming Chance, but I kind of am. But I'm sorry, I'm biased. But the developers, I think the path forward for you guys is to call Chance on his bluff, reach out to him and say, these are our conditions. This is what we would like to see moving forward to end this strike. And call him on the carpet. Tell him these are who we would like to, to see as a board of directors. These are the caveats or the concessions we're willing to make towards you to keep you on the board and not vote you off and make sure everyone has a fair shake and continue this project forward, and really just kind of put the ball in his court and say, okay, you've wanted us to reach out and talk to you. Here it is. Time's ticking for the Kickstarter. We can turn this around, but you need to kind of come to the table too. Because I think that's where all of this kind of boils down to is both of you, devs and Chance, need to sit back down at the table and start hashing this out and talking this out. Otherwise, it's not. Yeah, and
Need to sit down and kiss.